method of communication with the examiner. Anecdotes from any moral book, anecdotes can be lifted from anywhere. You can lift it from goodreads.com, that is also fine. Okay, you can lift it from ethics paper, you can lift it from NCRT books, you can lift it from news articles. Don't you remember yesterday this girl Nupur Goel, she was quoting the 12th 5-year plan? So you can lift sentences from anywhere. I have quoted in ethics session, if you remember, from second ARC report. So that's there. Word limit for conclusion, there is no word limit for conclusion. It can be 50 words, it can be 150 words, broken in 3 paras. All depends on how you are bringing in the consolidation, how you are wrapping up the conversation, how you are bringing a conclusive end to the concept. Like in terms of, I said that some people directly write the conclusion, some people, they first and foremost they give a summative remark whereby they are giving a gist of what has been discussed in totality. After the summative remark they come up with suggestions, after suggestions they give conclusion. So there are different ways of arriving at conclusion, hence talking about it is not possible in terms of word limit. Okay, so Anuishka, get well soon. Can we repeat some anecdote from past year paper? Yes, why not? Why not? There's no limitation to paragraphs, Rashmi. Everything is good till the time it is engaging. The entire focus is relevant content, which is multidimensional and engaging. That's the core that you have to stick to. Toppers copies, toppers have not become toppers like that. They have practiced quite a number of times. You practice 40 essays, the condition you have today will be very different from what you'll probably gain. So it's all about practicing, right? Have less time for prelims, less time for prelims. You have a lot of time for prelims. If you think of mains, then yes, probably you have a lot of time for prelims. Right now your approach should be all mains oriented till December, and even if you clear prelims and mains is not prepared, it is futile in exercise, right? It is the mains marks which is finally added to your selection. So that's what. So how long the ideal paragraph should be? It should be anything whereby it is I would say at least 2 paras should fit in a page. Okay, if a para is getting too long because the content is too humongous, like 150 words or so, break it into 2. And suppose a para is like, let's say 70 words or so, and it is taking almost the entire page, no problem. Let there somewhere in the page towards the end or towards the beginning, let it be visible that there was a next para, and after it or before it. So there should be some kind of change in para visible in a page. It should not be like one page like stuffed in, like shoo, and it's done. No, not like that. All right. So with respect to this, now with respect to this, when we are further moving ahead, so types of introduction and all I discussed with all of you. I showed you the types of introduction of the toppers, then I showed you types of conclusion yesterday. I requested all of you to go through Netrajit's essay and identify his strengths and weaknesses. This was the homework that I gave to all of you, so that when I discuss about other segments, I can take him as an example and all of you can connect. All right. So with respect to this, today when we are going to start, first and foremost, we are going to start with debatable essays. So, how could we keep turtle on the back? How can... that was just like analogy, Umaira. You don't have to like literally derive scenarios out of it. How can a rabbit carry a turtle? I've seen this size of turtle also. Now, can we debate over that given situation? A baby turtle. My neighbor has kept, it is a child, and barely a child of 3 years old, and has a little turtle. So, can we debate over the size, Umaira? Right? So the debate was not over the size, the debate was over the idea, the component, how to make it powerful, how to make it thought-provoking and reflective. How should I use different pens? No, you don't need to use different pens. Pens do not impress Yash. What really impresses is the ideas. So, and you in the exam anyway, you don't get so much of, I would say, time so that you can keep flipping between pens. Just use one pen. Anything that is important, underline. That's it. That's the only way to highlight it. Don't worry. All right. Now, reflecting upon the same, as we further move ahead, we all can further substantiate the content and add more ideas associated with it. Okay, so what are debatable essays? When we speak of it, debatable essays will be essays which you don't believe in the face value, which you feel the moment you see the topic, you feel that there's something wrong with the topic. It's not a balanced topic, it's not giving a balanced idea per se. Okay, so that is something which you can connect when we are discussing about the component of debatable essays. All right, so in this given subsegment, you will find the imbalanced topics. The method of dealing with them is, you first propose the topic. Okay, and as you propose the topic, you first explain why it has been given, explain the rationale behind it, explain the rationale behind it, and then after that you counter it. Okay, then counter it. When you are countering it, when you are creating an opposition to this given subsegment, all right, you can understand this given possibility associated with like I would say the component of debatable essays. All right, that when we are discussing about a given statement, here is the statement. The moment the statement is given, find out why it is valid. Okay, why is it valid? What is the background, what is the rationale, okay, behind it? And after that, find the counter argument, the counter argument which is more balanced, counter argument which proposes balance of reflection, balance of reflection. All right, so that is what. Should I use different pens for quotes and other mains headlines? I told you no pens, different pens, just one pen is fine. Okay, so with respect to this is not a prelims class. Whoever is asking about prelims, we are focusing on mains. So let us focus on mains. Segments and teachers and current affairs classes, which will be focused to prelims, raise those questions at that given time. The mark of a smart person is when to raise the right kind of questions, how, and like, make it more substantial. Ghulam, all right. So that will be addressed definitely, but when that segment is being taught. Now, so with respect to this, when we are talking about this given segment, let us reflect upon debatable topics. Now, the moment I show you a topic like this one, okay, like customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. You see the topic and you're like, huh, I can't understand the topic. How can I debate over it? No worries. Similarly, reality does not conform to the ideal but confirm it. It is, in fact, confirms it. So you again see it and you're like, okay, I do not understand the topic, how to debate over it. Now, so we'll start with an easier topic. 1993, way old. See this topic. Men have failed. Let women take over. Is this sounding balanced, people? Is this sounding balanced? Is this an okay statement? No, definitely not. It is not sounding balanced. Why is it not sounding balanced? Yes. What is the problematic segment of this topic? Yes. What is the problematic segment? Okay. Takeover is the problematic segment. All right. Something else? Something else? Okay, gender equality should be exercised. It is like creating imbalance. Sahil, it is not matriarchy. It is not matriarchy. And who said in matriarchy there is gender inequality? The authority flows from the mother to the daughter, but the position of male is also quite high and it is regarded like mother's brother plays the role, all the important roles that in a patriarchal society that a father plays, like upkeeping of the family, taking care of the expenses, taking care of the security and protection of the family, all that the mother's brother does. Okay, so he plays a very crucial role. He doesn't stay with his wife. His wife and children are in another settlement with their parents. Okay, so that's the pattern of the society. A husband is never abused, misused, beaten up, a victim of violence or any kind of psychological maltreatment, torture, underestimation, the way women experience in patriarchy. In matriarchy, no such practices have been witnessed. Okay. So, Sahil, like having an improper understanding about matriarchy can also be dangerous if you end up writing such a statement in GS or in essay. Okay, so have a wholesome understanding about the technical words. Anyway, so the statement is too extreme. Agreed? Yes. And the the word failed is showing negativity. All right. Completely ignoring man. Okay, that's too like a generalized a perception. Then what else can we see? First statement not balanced. Hyper femininity. Feminism is associated with bringing balance in the rights of man and woman. Feminism is also a type of humanism. Okay, it does not establish superiority of woman over man. So, uh, okay, anyway, judging someone's capacity, men have failed, giving opportunity to women. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Now, let us reflect upon like what all of you have proposed as I'm going through this given understanding. My question now should be, it is overgeneralization, okay, extreme approach, all that, okay, fine. So now when we are speaking of this given statement that is given over here, we have to debate over it. So debate, counter statement, everyone can sense what can be the counter statement, how to support the statement, what must have been the reason that such a statement is given, right? Let us reflect upon that. So favor and against, as we are reflecting upon it. So what is the reason because of which we can consider that this statement would have been given? Montu, can you substantiate the sentence? Like you have just given a word, it's a relevant word, but can you substantiate it? Okay, it is not recognizing the work done till the point of time. Okay, Santosh, agreed. Okay, so reservation, all right. Nagemi is saying that, is it good to state a lot of facts while writing an essay? No. In do's and don'ts, I have written, don't overwhelm the examiner with facts. It seems you were absent yesterday towards the beginning of the session, Nagemi, because yesterday for the first half an hour, we discussed do's and don'ts of essay. Please go through the slide, you'll get an idea. All right, or you can visit the session as well. Because of economic crisis, all right, all right, most of the seats in the legislature are filled by men. They fail policy formulation in the, okay, fine, so you are connecting it with policy formulation, and we can say a role of men in the parliament, role of men in the parliament, as they are, like, bulk of the population. In the crime against women, okay, crime against women. What else? LPG reforms. So how can LPG reforms fit in here? Have LPG reforms really failed? Sai, would unemployment not be further more high if LPG reforms won't have happened? Okay, so most of the seats is a criminalization of politics. Okay, opportunity, women, major field, main feld, because bringing peace. Okay, so you are talking about men failed to bring peace. Can absolute peace be established? That's yet another question which probably can be raised. Traditional patriarchy has seen a lot of violence and abuse. Okay, so crime against women, violence, abuse. Anything else? In judiciary, less women judge are there. That's a fact, Nirmala. That the fact is not substantiating the given topic. Women decision making in higher authority, Sneha, that is again a fact. Okay, that it should happen, but it is not like supporting the statement. You have to say something in support of the statement. What's there? To provide equal opportunity to women. But the topic is not talking about equal opportunity to women, Basaya. It's saying that take the power away from men and give it to women. That's what it is suggesting. Again, Nirmala, when you're saying that no CGI women, it is like a fact. But how is it substantiating that men have failed? Huh? So, and that's why the CGI should be a woman. Like, yeah, hygiene, health, sanitation due to failure of BOP crisis. Okay. Main, like most of the police occupied by men, but crime continues. Okay, crime, we have noted that down. Colonialism. Okay, discrimination, providing water, food, okay, creative, new equality should be practiced. All right. I can see what all generally you all have proposed as points. Okay. When men are in charge of parliament, women are considered much. When women are charged in kitchen, men get tummy full food. Okay, sort of. All right. Though men are the ones who are leading as chefs in majority of the hotels, right? So they are also filling the tummy full for many, many people, right? So that's a very engendered statement, I must say. All right, so achieving like, okay, all right, fine. Now, so seeing what all of you can propose, let us see how the statement should have been taken up, right? So in this given statement, just a second, let me just move my chair, it was little. Okay, so in this statement, as we all can see, men have failed, let women take over. So in this given statement, the moment you say have failed, you accept the failure first. Second thing, the moment you say men have failed, okay, so you can connect that all wars, okay, all wars, crime against humanity, why only women? Crime against, let me write these words in this so that they are my points, against humanity, okay, they have been carved by men. So it is the leadership of the men. So all kinds of wars, crimes against humanity. When we are talking about creation of biological, chemical, nuclear weapons. Okay, we can see all these patterns of devastation can be connected to men when we are discussing about it. Okay, let women take over. So someone should have qualification to be taken over, right? So under this sub segment, we can consider that whenever women have provided leadership. Now, please, one thing which all of you need to understand and learn, a lot of points will keep buzzing in your own mind the moment you see the topic. So rather than listening to your own buzz, that, oh, my point this and that's this, and yes, somewhere, ma'ams, this point is somewhere distantly connected to my point. Okay. If it is not written in the same language and with the same clarity, you need to learn that. So rather than appreciating how distantly your point is connected to what I'm saying, focus on why there is lack of clarity and how to speak or write clearly. Okay, whatever was relevant, I did write. Like, for example, you spoke of peace, you spoke of policy formulation, you spoke of crime, violence, abuse. I noted all of this segment down. So whenever women take up leadership, take up leadership, what possibility do we see whenever we see that women take up the leadership? So you can see the recent COVID crisis. In the recent COVID-19 crisis, we all could see that better leadership was provided by Germany, New Zealand, and Vietnam, countries that were led by women. Led by women. So we can see better containment, and we also could see less death, right? This is at global level. We can consider at local level. At local level, we all can see that with respect to this given subsegment, we all can reflect that I can give you the Chhattisgarh model. In the Chhattisgarh model of self-help group, it was seen that when women were given the responsibility to distribute food grains, there was 90% reduction in corruption. Okay, 90% reduction in corruption when we speak of it, right? So we all can connect with this given subsegment that men have failed, let women take over. If such a topic has been proposed, it must have been. Okay, so first you will debate over it. That if such a statement is proposed, which seems to be quite imbalanced from the perspective of gender, just hold on for a while.
एक स्टूडेंट है ना, वो डाउट सेक्शन में देख लीजिएगा, डिसमिस में ओपन करके, वो ब्लाइंड है, मतलब वो सुनता सुनता है, मतलब
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके। क्या नाम है उस बच्चे का? देयर इज, इसको बंद कर दूं क्या? ओके। We deny, or we can say fail to acknowledge all the good work done by men. Okay, all the contribution made by men. Okay, all the contribution made by men. Men have been, you can consider scientists, social reformers, men have been thinkers, right? So scientists, social reformers, thinkers who have shaped the world, who have shaped the world. And the moment we accept that men have failed, we fail to recognize their contribution. Okay, henceforth men have failed is an imbalanced statement. Then reflect upon the second part, let women take over. With respect to let women take over, debate over this also, say that gender identity is not a mark of qualification. Gender identity is not a mark of, okay, not a mark of qualification. And then in this process, you can always say that cruel, autocratic leaders can be both men and women. Cruel, autocratic leaders. Okay, cruel, autocratic leaders can be associated with both men and women. Do not write Indira Gandhi straight away. Okay, because Indira Gandhi did a lot of good things also, and then towards the end you see that she brought in emergency. So you can, the moment you're writing cruel, autocratic and you're immediately writing like Indira Gandhi, it will create an imbalance. Okay, but you can say that there have been poor decisions taken even by women, for example, and then you can write down Bhandar Naike, Indira Gandhi. Okay, then poor decisions being taken, like, you know, threat to democracy through imposing emergency. You can always write that given statement, and that will be accepted as a balanced expression. So I hope all of you are understanding how to bring in balance to the essay. Like, break it open into subsegments and debate and discuss every single subpart associated with it. Okay, so men have failed, let women take over. The moment you get such a statement, first present in favor of the statement, why such a topic has been given, and then move ahead with against the statement. Now, so there is this classmate of yours, Sharmila. She is asking that yesterday someone mentioned scholarly introduction to an essay. Can you please give an example? Well, scholarly introduction is nothing but we can consider thinkers or academicians giving a statement, and then on the basis of what they have given, the critical analysis that you present in the light of what those we can say academicians or think tanks have spoken in the past. All right, Sharmila, I hope that's clear. Okay. Cleopatra, yeah, you can come up with all kinds of example. That's completely like up to you. But you cannot use the moment you write like cruel and autocratic leaders have been like women also have been cruel and autocratic leaders. For example, and Indira Gandhi, like Bhandar Naik, it will backfire for you because can you write this cruel and autocratic leaders have been in different countries? For example, our own Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Will it like really land well for you? No. Why? Because he's a contemporary leader and Indira Gandhi was a past leader. Every leader in the process of leadership will not take all decisions which will be correct or up to mark. You have to remember that. Different leaders will be criticized for different reasons during their leadership. For example, after Mrs. Gandhi's death, we could see that in under the leadership of Rajiv Gandhi, there was mass rioting that happened in the country, and there was we could see Sikh riots that unfolded. Right, we could see that. During the leadership of PV Narasimha Rao, we could see Babri Masjid incident happened, and at local level it was Kalyan Singh. So not every leader, and the same PV Narasimha Rao is given the credit for LPG reforms. All right, and it is LPG reforms which opened up our economy and multiple gadgets and tools and even this classroom that is possible. It is because of the LPG reforms. So when you are talking about good things and bad things, every leadership will have those certain blots. So do not write in one go. That is immature expression, writing like that. Okay. So cruelty or autocratic or providing poor leadership is not gender specific. Any human being, male or female, can provide such a leadership. You have to be open about that given idea, and you have to you can discuss it in that precision. Okay, that possibility is there with all of you. Remember that. So when you are coming up with such a statement, you have to be clear that what segments you are opening up and how you are discussing the given possibilities. So just bring in the balance. This is what I'll suggest. Just bring in the balance while writing the answer. And if you have to bring in the name of leaders, just say that incorrect decisions or improper decisions have also been taken by female leaders in the past, for example, and then bring in the example. That will balance out the possibility. All right. So, in essays, it is seen how we reflect on our ideas. Yes, your personality analysis is done. How matured you are in terms of speaking and writing things. And that is something which brings us closer to the idea whether the person holds a bureaucratic personality or not. Is the child, because the war is not about presenting facts. The war is not about like how many dimensions you opened. It's finally about testing your personality. Through essay, the bureaucratic personality is put to test. So you should know how to present the ideas. All right. In debatable essays, we have to cite both perspectives. Yes, that's what I said. So how can we include all the segments in this answer? Huh? This is how, like one para, you're talking in favor because the topic has been given. So first you should start in favor and then change the para and give the counter argument. That's how, Santosh, you are supposed to give it. And you have so many paras to be written. There are like 18 pages to be filled. So you have that intellectual liberty to at least give 1 or 2 pages dedicated to the explanation of how the statement is and what possibilities can be there. So how to include all the segments in the answer, I hope you have learnt, Santosh, as I gave language to it, because I was giving language to the given statement. First para, how it should be written. Second para, how it should have been explained. In such debatable topics in favor, we have to write why we are doing this, and against we have to write why it should be done. No, not really. Different debatable topics will have different concerns. Such a simplistic generalization will be deadly if we make a generalization on the basis of one topic. Different topics will have different level of understanding and different points of debating. So how and why, if you freeze it to that segment, that will be improper. Just try to see how a statement which is proposed, whether it is correct in every sense or not. If it is not, which is the point of contention, bone of contention, and then debate over that. In such a debatable topic in favor, we have written why we are doing this, and against we have, no, this has been explained. How do we show maturity in essay even if we are not? See, if you are not matured, UPSC will give you time. Okay, this is something like, how to say, if a standard 10th child is saying, how can I prepare for 10th board when my level is of standard 5? You'll be like, no worries, you take time, build up your skills till standard 10th level, and then appear for the 10th board. Are you getting it? This is what will be the response of the examiner. The examiner is not accountable or answerable to one student. The examiner is seeing the lot of 14 lakh students, students who are hustling against all odds, students who are sometimes supporting their parental income or supporting their domestic economy, or sometimes taking care of health of parents, dying like ebbing parents, students who are struggling against all odds, basic daily issues, and still preparing and having that level of clarity and understanding, still squeezing out time and balancing their timetable. So if you portray yourself as a weakling, then that will be something problematic, because the moment you are 18 plus, you are casting a vote. Your vote has an equivalent importance as that of the UPSC examiner or the board member or your teacher. So you're 18 plus. Any crime that you do, you are like penalized as an adult, not as a child. So this is no excuse that if I am not so matured, how can I have a matured take? Okay, I'm not taking your name, but you know who you are, who wrote this question, because that can be like a statement or a thought process which any student may possess. All right. So if any student feels like that I'm not so matured, how to write in a matured manner, this is your answer. Any student having this kind of thought process. Okay. If you are not matured, take time to grow matured, because you are going to take responsibility of the vulnerable sections and this country. Okay. So I'm not saying that it's not good to be innocent. It's good to be innocent, but at the same time, being sharp and tactful is also necessary. All right. So just try to interpret. SME, please support Shruti. She needs some technical guidance. So how to conclude this? Yeah, in conclusion, you will have to bring in gender justice. That's how you conclude it. So we don't need to counter the statement somewhat. Don't you see I have written against Sahil? Are you disappearing from the session in terms of attention? So if you can see, I have given favor, and then after favor, I have written on the screen against. That means I have countered it. So why this question? So yeah, the statement itself is showing the imbalance, but you have to learn how to present the language. Okay. In favor, we can say that Maria Theresa of Austria, Catherine of Russia, they both were among the enlightened rulers of their time. Yeah, you can come up with a lot of examples across the world whereby women have provided brilliant leadership. If you see Mrs. Gandhi, she was the person who actually established the interventions pertaining to Green Revolution. Had Green Revolution not articulated in India, executed in India, India would have continued to be dependent for food to US or other countries. Any country lacking food security and food sovereignty loses its real sovereignty of decision making. In US, the same, like in 1950s, the same US, or rather I let me quote 1963-64, the same United States, which acts as a big brother, it sent rotten wheat. It was red wheat, which was unfit for pigs and cows to be served in US. We paid the premium price for that wheat, and we got that wheat coming in cartels for Indians. And when our Prime Minister protested, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, when he protested that this is not the quality of wheat we requested for, and we are not taking it for free, we are paying for it. It is a long-term loan. People in US protested that why is our wheat going to India? To which the US government said that we are taking money for it. It's not for free. We are going to charge them for it. And still they sent such a poor quality wheat. When Lal Bahadur Shastri ji refused to accept that cartel, US imposed a condition that the cartels that have moved and are in the water bodies like the oceans and the seas, please receive them, because if you refuse them, we will stop the supply of wheat in the future course of action. We'll take care of the quality in the next batch, but the batch which is on the way should be taken up. That batch of wheat should be accepted. It is then that Shastri ji requested, he urged to the Indian citizens that let us observe a fast. A fast every week, one fast every day. All the people who are youthful, who are healthy, please choose to go for fasting once in a week. It is good for your health. Moreover, we'll be able to ensure food security, because we were running a food supplies which was less than that of 6 months. And in any kind of distressful situation, warlike situation, it could have been problematic for us. It is when Shastri ji urged this given possibility to the Indians, it is he who encouraged MS Swaminathan to get connected to Norman Borlaug. That is our history, the history of lack of food sovereignty. And when we speak of such a possibility of intervention, that's who, like what US is. So whenever you're coming up with any such possibility, you need to understand that what conditions you are surrounded by and what kind of decisions ought to be taken. So the same Indira Gandhi is the person who, after Lal Bahadur Shastri ji's death, she encouraged MS Swaminathan and a list of agro scientists to carry forward the experiments and make green revolution a success. She was the person who realized that the banks needs to be nationalized, because if there won't be national banks, who will give loan to the farmers? Other than nationalization of banks, she also nationalized the, you can see, the mines. The otherwise mines were owned by private investors, and they were exploiting the mines and minerals, and they were becoming rich like estate owners and kings and queens. That's what was happening in India. So a lot of profound decisions were also taken by her. Henceforth, balance of expression needs to be maintained. If you don't know history, that will be problematic. Okay. So can I write about recent discovery of Peru shown before 12,000 years ago in Peru? Women were doing hunting or began. Yes, yes, there are a lot of civilizations. If you actually, like, if you follow Margaret Mead, she will be talking about Shambuli and Arampesh and these Kwaku tribes. So when you see, not every tribe, or rather in Philippines also there was Eta tribes where women were into hunting and gathering, and men were the ones who were like very we can say calm and very soft spoken. So in Zuni tribe, men and women both were calm, but in Arampesh, it was men who were going for war, women who were going for war, women who were going for hunting and gathering, and men who were at peace, taking care of babies, taking care of household. So different communities having different such identities. Anyway, so much of depth is not needed. You should also know how far to skim, the content. All right. Yes, the 1971 war, which was associated with Bangladesh, that was such a strategic move of Mrs. Gandhi. In the face of pressure from US, she could still counterbalance it in the larger interest of the country, in the long-term interest of the safety and security of the country. Think about so many things, right? So all that stuff, yes, remove privy purse. Now let us not discuss about Mrs. Gandhi. The question is not about Mrs. Gandhi. It's just that someone was asking that, ma'am, what is the problem if we write in one go? So I just had to explain it. In Mangalore, even today, men cook and men pray at home. Women don't. Oh, that's interesting. Mrugna, I was not aware of this fact. Okay. In Khasi tribe, Meghalaya, youngest daughter takes the property. Yes, yes, Sachin. That's why it is like ultimogeniture. There's a term used for it. Okay. So you can find those practices also. All right. Anyway, so the question was, men have failed, let women take over. So you had to say that rather than let women take over or men take over, let the most sound leader take over. Let the most balanced, humane, and able leader take over. That should have been the statement that should have been explained. All right. Where, ma'am? What is that, Shruti, that you are writing? Where, ma'am? Like, where is what? That's a very random question. Primogeniture is for the senior most daughter, and that is Anu associated with earlier the Nayar community. Now Nayars are also, when we are talking about them, we can see that they are also like mixing with the mainstream community, and the matriarchal practices are going. So not primogeniture, it was ultimogeniture in Khasi. Okay. So 1971 war, one Sam Manekshaw, RN my not strategically. Yeah, but Kaushik, do you understand that whenever you are talking about the possibility of war, the final decision is taken by the PM. If the PM blocks, that, okay, there is a lot of pressure by US, let us just like back out? Could Sam Manekshaw move ahead? Can you not understand the importance of a PM? Could you say the same if the same would have been done by Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Think about it. If the same decision would have been taken by him, could you not give him the credit for the same? Okay. Whatever happened in terms of, we can say, our certain conflicts with Pakistan in last 2-3 years, the credit or the miscredit, everything goes to the PM finally, right? Because the final decision is that of the PM. So recognizing the merits and the demerits of any person, any political leader is essential for you to maintain a non-partisan behavior, so that you don't develop any political biases. You know facts as facts. And if you don't know facts as facts, okay, all right, that's perfectly all right. But the thing is, we are not fighting over RN Cow, or we are not talking about Sam Manekshaw, okay? Here we are discussing about how you should think. You should know that who holds what kind of power, all right? Kaushik, the question was not about the people. It was associated with the final authority and the impact of the authority, right? So, justifiable to write, let statesmen take over? No. Statesman, no. Statesperson can be a better word, because in statesman also you are bringing in the imbalance. Okay, so that's what you'll have to keep posting your point, Monica. Letting women take over just because they are women is also a kind of discrimination. Yeah, that's what I have written, that there is gender imbalance the moment you say that let women take over. Gender identity should not be the mark of qualifying. So that is also like, so you have simplified it in further language. That's what. Let humanity take over, let the able one take over. Humanity is too benevolent a statement. Okay, let the able leader who is guided by the principles of compassion take over, guided by the capability of leadership take over. That's something that needs to be written. Okay, ma'am, does it meet? What meets what, Bhavna? Okay, now let it be. Let's move ahead. SME, please support me with other miscellaneous queries. Moving ahead to the next topic, because now you are gaining some kind of composure related to this topic. Let us reflect upon this topic. Fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, right? Fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. Why is it a myth? First, okay, so in favor of the statement, we will be speaking of why the statement is relevant, right? So in favor of the statement, we will be talking about relevance, the relevance of this statement, right? So with respect to this, when we are substantiating, for example, some women making water hyacinth based utensils. Yes, water hyacinth for utensils, that's a fine example, Nitesh. Now, with respect to this, moving ahead further, yes, fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. Okay, so what is the relevance of this statement? Why this can be suggested? Less number of women are in higher positions. Okay, so how about you first explaining me what is new woman? What is a new woman? Who's a new woman? According to you, who's a new woman? We'll talk about other segments further. Who's a new woman when we speak of it? Okay, newborn woman. No, that will be a newborn child. That's not the answer. Independent women, educated women. Okay, all right. Something more? New generation women who can match shoulders with men. Why to match shoulder? Why can't you be unique and distinct? Who is self-dependent, educated and successful? Okay, all those people who are considering educated women are like a new woman. So do you imply that those women who are not so educated are not new women? Means if my mother is not so educated, she is not a new woman. If my cook is not a very educated woman, she is not a new woman. Is that what you imply? Skilled women, financially empowered women, all those people who are saying all these words. So is your like mother or father, not father, your grandmother or maternal aunt, paternal aunt, anyone who's not so educated, if she has not completed her 12th or not completed her graduation, are these women not new women? This is what you imply to say? Free of shambles of old ideology. A woman teaching gender equality. Okay. All right, all right. Now people are thinking. All right, fine. So, see, when we are speaking about this idea of new woman, as you people said that she can be educated, yes, agreed. Education adds to the virtuousness. You are saying, ma'am, she'll be skilled. Okay, fine. She is economically independent. Fine. I'm just taking down your points. Okay. Economically independent, yes. These things will create greater chances for a woman to become a new woman. But these are not the only ways for a woman to become new woman. This increases the chance or the possibility for her to become a new woman. A new woman is someone you can consider a woman who is, we can say, aware of her rights and her responsibilities. Okay, aware of her rights and her responsibilities. She is a woman who is, we can say, listens to all, but does what she believes is correct. What she believes is correct. Okay. A new woman is the one who you can consider creates intervention and empowerment for people in her surroundings. Okay. So she is aware of her rights and her responsibilities. She listens to all but does what she believes is correct. She creates intervention and empowerment for people in her surroundings. You can understand all this? Okay. She is, like we can say, believes in human values and stands for anyone in need. With education, skills, and economic independence, definitely the chances improves. The chances of you being aware of your rights, you being aware of what kind of, we can say, interventions are required for you, what kind of possibilities are required for you, what kind of breakthroughs ought to be exercised. So all that, yeah, definitely that improves. So when we are talking about the possibility of new woman, okay, probably I should give you some offbeat examples, because seeing this topic, majority of the people will have a tendency to write about successful women leaders, successful women bureaucrats, successful women judges, successful women who are in media. Okay, that's the standard example which people take. Yes, all that is correct. Yes, that should be given. Along with that, let me give you some off track examples also. My cook auntie, earlier, from 2007 to 2017, she was there with me. 10 years is quite some time. She saw me grow in different phases. And what happened was that this woman, she was not so educated because she did not get an opportunity to get educated. She got married early, and she Caroline auntie, as like her name was there. Everyone used to call her Karoli in her place of residence. Anyway, so what happened was that this lady, a happy-go-lucky widow, who had raised 4 children to whatever capacity she could, whatever skills and values she could give to her children, she tried to give her level best. That's what I can consider and say. Now, what happened was that, when we are talking about her, and when I'm sharing about her, what happened was that in 2017, when I was moving out of that flat, where I was staying. And when I was moving to another residential area, which was almost like, 8 to 10 kilometers apart. So I requested her that, see, you are aging, because she was senior to my mother also in age. So she was, by that time, she was almost 60. And when I requested her that, auntie, you are almost 59, 60 now, it's hard, like high time that you stop working. And I know your children cannot really support you. So why don't you do something? The place where you stay, give it to like one of your sons who's already staying, and you come and stay with me. So I'll give you one of the bedrooms, which is attached with a washroom. So you'll have your own privacy, and you can cook for me, and you can take care of the other household chores which you have been doing so very diligently, and you can have a relaxed life. And in any case you need some medicine, any kind of intervention, I can always empower you, tell you what can be bought for you or what can be taken care for you. And when I proposed this, she denied. She said that, listen, beta, you're not understanding the challenge associated with what you are saying. It's not about money. Basically, there is this two elderly women. One is 85 years, another is 88 years. So if I don't go, they will not be able to eat food, because I'm the one who fixes their food, and any other staff will have a tendency to swindle or cheat them. So they are so old, they are so frail, that someone is needed to take care of them. So I go to the both Matajis and I take care of them. There is another senior gentleman who's 78 years old. So he had helped her at some point of time with a gas cylinder when she needed it urgently. She's like, he's the man who got the LPG gas cylinder for me. So how can I be thankless to him? He is also aging. His children are in US. So some kind of support needs to be given to him as well, in terms of food, in terms of cleaning his house. And then there are two children who are preparing for civil services exam, and they are also doing job. So they leave early morning, they come late in the evening, so they don't have the time to purchase the ration or the vegetables, etc. So I'm the one who's nurturing them, feeding them, taking care of them. At that time I had a puppy. Okay, so it was like a puppy growing into a dog. She was the one who used to take it out for walk, feed, if it used to pee or poop, clean it up. Okay, come twice or thrice in a day, just to keep a check over it, whether it is fine or not, feed it, take care of it. And it was so like attached to her. So all that stuff was also happening at that point of time in my life. So I was seeing all of it. So this woman, I proposed that I will give you the exact amount or slightly more if you want, which you are earning from all the four places. Okay, consolidated together. I'll support with you with that money, and with like safety and security. You just stay with me. Now stop hustling so much. And she was more concerned about people around her, the capability to nurture them, the capability to give to them. So please understand, the idea of new woman is not necessarily associated with young, youthful women, women who are like proficient in English. There can be a woman who's proficient in English, is earning, but can be very stingy, can be very miserly, can be very cruel. All those possibilities can be there. There can be a woman who is earning, and she is having the possibilities of, like, let's say she's earning, she's in, having some kind of financial security, but she's not capable to maintain that financial independence, because her husband has created a joint account, and it is he who decides where the money should be invested. She does not have an independent say in it. Or there can be a possibility that the woman, before deciding anything in her life, she has to seek permission. Mind it, not seek advice and then decide. She has to seek permission of her husband or her brother or her father, because as you mature, you should be capable to listen to everyone, but you should be capable to decide what is the best for you and why it is the best for you. So that's something that can be considered. So when we discuss about new woman, I hope all of you are getting an idea that new woman is not associated with a woman who's necessarily educated or skilled or economically independent. There are so many women, like if you remember last year, Padma Shri awardee, there were two women who worked towards, there was this woman first from Karnataka, and she led to massive afforestation of a specific region, which was converted into a green patch by her. Kilometers of land converted into a green patch because of her diligent work towards afforestation drive. So there are women who have contributed massively, and they are also a part of this new woman drive when we speak of this new woman. All right. So you can think of various such examples. Okay. Various such examples. I've given you the theory. You can keep thinking about, like, this given some time. Oh, yes, Neetu, I have spoken about Caroline Auntie once again, like in ethics class also, that when we speak of uprightness or honesty or integrity, it is not associated necessarily with class. And I discussed it when I was discussing that does in the chapter when I was talking about ethical relativism, I discussed that how ethics can be relative to person, place, and time. And there I had asked a question: is ethics or being ethical associated with class? And there, like, we discussed and debated this given segment, and there also I had given her example. I still remember that. Yeah, you can think of Sindhu Tai Sapkal. You can think of okay, Salu Marada Thimakka. Yes, I'm talking about her as Thimakka is how I remember her. Yes. So, like, when you read about such women, you realize that the idea of new woman should not be delimited to only successful bureaucrats or successful political leaders who are women. Okay. The idea of new woman is also a grassroots concept. Women from the grassroots can be new women. Okay. That's what you need to understand. Fulfillment. Now, when we are discussing about this given statement, so first, let us understand. So you understanding this, what is new woman? Fulfillment means realization, right? This is what we understand. So realization of new woman in India is a myth, right? Now the question is why? Why is it considered that in India it is a myth? Yes, people. Yes, Santosh, you can write your mother as an example, but you'll have to prove, because always remember, when you are taking names of people who are popular, even they are, even though they are from grassroots level, it makes sense because everyone can recognize them. If you are giving any out of box example, you will have to give the reference why you are considering the person. Like I gave you the example of Caroline Auntie, and still I gave you the reference why I respect her so much. So because of her thoughts and her choices, so I had to give the reference, otherwise it won't have made sense to all of you that why I'm connecting her with new woman. Okay, so yes, why is this concept a myth in India? Okay, so you're saying patriarchy is the reason. Okay, anything other than patriarchy, people? You have done, not done, sorry. Okay, yes, not conducive environment for social structure. Okay, patriarchy, difference in literacy rate. The difference in literacy rate is not so tremendous, interestingly, Rashmi. There's something more core to it. Women don't speak for themselves. Okay, lack of involvement of women in social, political, and economic sphere. Okay, so it's like blaming the women only, that why are they not involved in social, political, and economic sphere. Okay, upward mobility, all right, of women in the different treatment of women, pre-independence era, social awareness, exposure, decent. Oh, these are points, Nitesh, but this is what I have noticed for past 2 days, Nitesh, is that you are busy in giving points without realizing what is the question. I said, why is it a myth in India? Why fulfillment of new woman is a myth in India? So you should have discussed the problems, okay, rather than tracing the history. Okay, all right. So for this, I can give you the insight which was given by Dr. Amartya Sen. So Dr. Amartya Sen, you can use it even in GS. Okay. So Dr. Amartya Sen, he talked about types of gender inequality. And in his concept of types of gender inequality, you will see that he spoke that women in India, they suffer from various types of gender inequality due to patriarchy, which are, we can say, natality inequality, okay, mortality inequality. So natality inequality can be witnessed whereby women are, like, girl children, like skewed up sex ratio. This is what we can connect it with. So skewed up sex ratio, and this skewed up sex ratio is due to like female feticide, female infanticide. Mortality inequality can be associated with violence against women when they have an untimely death, or other than violence against women, we can also see that poor treatment to old age women, like lack of social security. So social security is missing, so time bound access to medicines, to like healthcare facilities, all that can go missing. So if a woman has a tendency to live for longer years, she won't be able to live, because of this reason, right? So you can think of that given possibility. Again, you can also connect it with, like, after natality inequality and mortality inequality, there is basic opportunity inequality. Basic opportunity inequality. Under the segment of basic opportunity inequality, it is associated with basic level of education and health care. All right. After that, you see there is special opportunity inequality. Special opportunity inequality. Under the component of special opportunity inequality, it is associated with higher education, skill development. Okay, whether women are getting an access to higher education or skill development or not. So maybe she has survived, she is not put to death. Maybe she has got education and healthcare at elementary level, but is not getting access to higher education. Or if she is getting higher education, she is not getting the course of her choice. She wants to do BTech, okay, but she is forced to do BSc, something like that. Okay, so you can think of that given possibility. Further, when we are speaking of it, after natality inequality, mortality inequality, basic opportunity inequality, special opportunity inequality, after these four sub segments, then you can further reflect upon some more segment. Obsolete thought of society for women is a byproduct of it. Okay, the, like, this is the manifestation how the fulfillment of new woman in India becomes a myth. Okay, Anu? So obsolete thought is a very vague term. How can we see the obsolete thought exercise itself? These are the ways. Again, we can see inequality at workplace, which is called professional inequality. Professional inequality. This professional inequality can be associated with, we can say, maybe you can consider um, harassment at workplace, harassment, uh, or violence, any kind of harassment. Harassment can be mental or physical or sexual. Mental, physical, sexual. These are three types. Do not mix the three. Like, ma'am, what is the difference between physical and sexual? Physical, hitting someone, pulling the hair, pushing someone, all this is physical harassment. Okay, so professional inequality can be in this manner. It can be associated with promotion, it can be associated with unequal pay for equal work. It can be so promotion, the glass ceiling effect. Okay, you can also connect it with the component of, like, let's say, when we talk of professional inequality, you can connect it with the work timings, transfer, pressure to quit in the name of marriage and childbirth. So pressure to quit due to marriage or childbirth, right? So professional inequality can also be observed in a given society when we are speaking of it. After that, there can be inequality in ownership, whereby, like, family members, they try not to share the property with the girl. Okay, and there can be also household inequality. Household inequality. Amartya Sen says that in the name of division of labor, women suffer from accumulation of labor. Okay, so household inequality. These can be the, we can consider the popular types. Okay, the popular types of, we can say, like, gender inequality which women suffer from. All right. So these 7 types which I just enlisted for all of you. So when you are discussing about, why fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, you will be discussing that it is a myth because women suffer from the pressures of patriarchy, and due to the pressures of patriarchy they are unable to realize their fullest potential. They are unable to contribute competently in the society. These are the reasons how they are unable to compete competently in the society, writing all this, right? So when you are talking about all these given segments, you are discussing that these are the reasons that hinder the realization of new woman or fulfillment of new woman in India. Now mind it, after you are understanding this topic, I said that this topic is debatable. Why? Yes, why is the topic debatable, people? Okay, so you are saying that it is debatable because of the term myth. Okay, why the term myth is creating the debate? Yes. All right, let me simplify it. What is the meaning of the word myth? What does the word myth mean? It is not true. Does the word myth mean it is not true? Yes. Myth, not real. Okay. Something more? In this context, what does the word myth imply? Yes. Correct. Sneha. Something which can't be proved. Okay. So, myth is a thought that can't be proved. So, an idea or a thought that can't be proved, that is considered a myth. The moment you say that fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, what happens by saying that? If it was written, the fulfillment of new woman in India is a very big challenge, then it was perfectly correct. There was no space and scope for debating. That yes, realization of new woman in India is actually a very big challenge. So there was no space and scope for debating. But realization or fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. It is a very big challenge. How do we understand that? How are we able to arrive at that specific level of understanding? Yes. So we are able to understand that the moment we accept this term, fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth, we fail to recognize all the women who prove to be new women in India, new women of India. Got it? That's why. So first you substantiate the statement, why it is correct, and then you start debating. So when you debate or when you counter, you bring out the word because of which the imbalance is occurring, because of which you are not completely accepting the statement. So first validate the statement, prove the statement, and then counter it. All right? I hope all of you are understanding that. So as all of you are gaining some kind of understanding related to it, so please, myth is not a utopia. And when you are connecting myth with a lie, it will be again incorrect. For example, we consider Ramayana, Mahabharata, all that as mythology. What is mythology? Mythology is a part of your oral tradition. Okay. And the moment you say it is a part of your oral tradition, so everything written in the or spoken in the oral tradition is not necessarily validated. For example, in Ramayana, it is documented that Ravana came on a flying vehicle, and that is how he could get Sita. So we could never find even a single engine or a propeller or anything as such which could facilitate flight in the air coming from ancient India. And hence, proving the possibility of Pushpak Viman is not there. Hence, Ramayana is called a myth. But beyond doubt, whatever is written in Ramayana in terms of human relations, interaction between relations, we can get a sense how people must have been living or interacting with each other in the given society, right? So that's how you can connect with this given idea, right? Why don't myth can be achieved? Till the time you don't prove a myth, it remains a myth. The moment a myth is proved, it becomes a reality. All right, Santosh? How Ramayana is a myth? Ramayana is a myth because I just told you, Rahul. Pushpak Viman. Have you found a Pushpak Viman? Right? So there are a lot of things which will be, and Ramayana is not the Ramayana you know. There are 200 versions of Ramayana coming from Indian subcontinent. In different areas, there are different versions of Ramayana. It will be autocratic to say that what Tulsidas writes is the best Ramayana, or what, we can consider the most authentic Ramayana, which is considered is Valmiki Ramayana. And Valmiki Ramayana did not experience improvisation over the time period. Few shlokas were never added to the Valmiki Ramayana, you can never say. And there are aspects or discussions in Valmiki Ramayana which you cannot, prove. You cannot prove it on ground, whether that would have happened or how can that happen, right? That's the reason. So there are so many versions of we can consider see, that's why it is considered as itihasa. Itihasa is not history. Itihasa means so far what has happened. So beyond doubt, it is something associated with a part of your history, but it is not a validated. See, you cannot consider anything with scientific precision till the time it is proved. Okay, so there can be contradictory theories or counter theories, some parts getting proved, some parts not getting proved. For example, in Himachal Pradesh, in the highland region, the Ramayana that is popular, it suggests that Rama is a Kshatriya king, Sita is a Brahmin girl, and her father is Ravana. And Ravana doesn't want that her daughter gets married to this Kshatriya boy, because intercaste marriage will happen. That's why he wages a war against Rama, and that's why he abducts his daughter and gets back. That's one version of Ramayana. In Andhra Pradesh, the Ramayana shows that Sita and Ram are like associated with each other as like Mama and Bhanji, because Mama Machinnan marriage is a preferred form of marriage in that given society. So which version is the best version, which version is the correct version, becomes a problem, because every Ramayana will be as per the suitability of a person's cultural choices, precision, social context. Getting it? So let's not get into the debate of Ramayana. Okay, I hope you are understanding that, right? Because the debate is not about Ramayana, the lecture is not about Ramayana. But why is it considered a part of Itihasa? We accept that it is a part of Itihasa. Ramayana, Mahabharata is a part of Itihasa. Okay, if you listen to lectures of Bibek Debroy, another professor, very he is presently, he was also briefly associated with Niti Aayog, and he is also one of the noted think tanks of the present government. Listen to him, he'll also give you a thorough insight associated with how it is a part of Itihasa. And when we talk about the idea of Itihasa, why Itihasa is not like history, there are like finer lines and differences. Do not get regimented with like Jai Bajrang Bali and started writing with a right-wing interpretation. That's not something how an academician should work. That's not how a student motivated by I would say motivated by a scientific precision should work. That's why you see there are various interpretations, and that's the reason because of which we do accept that it is a part of our culture, a part of our tradition, interpreting how we have lived. But not everything, every aspect of it can be proved. Okay, Sita Rasoi can be found in 25 different locations of India. So was Sita ji like roaming from Odisha to like Chhattisgarh to like, let us consider Andhra Pradesh to Uttar Pradesh to Kerala? Was it really possible? But you'll find the idea of Sita Rasoi existing in 24 locations in India. That's the thing. All right. Yes, chairman to EAC, 2 p.m. presently, Abhishek. Yeah, so very true. Anyway, well, let's not get into it. So, how can we differentiate? By studying, not by following WhatsApp message and following this Twitter and following this Facebook. By studying from authentic sources, listening to academicians, understanding the terms and terminologies, because people have devoted decades of their life in doing research. in finding facts and documenting it. Interpretations, Indological approach, whereby interpreting the religious scriptures and texts, original first-hand interpretations, all that. Okay. Anyway, let's not get into it. Getting further ahead, even science doesn't have many answers. Does it mean we should call science a myth? Ah, Shivam, great. So science, if it is a myth, then this classroom is a myth. The technology you are using is a myth. The science has an objective reality. Human sciences have a subjectivity. Can you really equate human science with natural science? Is this what you have gained from standard 10th studies, even if you are a non-science student, even if you are a humanities student? I have been a hardcore humanities student. In 11, 12th, I had humanities. In graduation, I had humanities, right? So does that, like when we, even the topic that I teach, sociology, it has a chapter, sociology as science, and then this debate is taken up. Okay. You may not be able to yeah, exactly, hypothesis is tentative when we speak of it, right? So Shivam, please try to understand difference between natural science and human science. Human science will be based on interpretation. Because it is based on interpretation, it is not considered as pure science, because validation will be problematic. Experimentation, validation, proving will become problematic. Okay. To a certain extent, when you are able to prove things, like in history, you are seeing coins, you are seeing like epitaphs, you are following the segments. That's how you are able to prove your segment. Anyway, without this given statement, yes, so very true. Science without religion will turn blind, and religion without science will also create massacre, human massacre. Okay. So we need to have a balance in terms of our reality and understanding. Anyway, my bad, I gave the example of Ramayana, because students need a level of maturity to understand the word myth. Okay. Students need a maturity to understand the word myth. If you lack the maturity, that's like your bad, because this unnecessary stretch of 10 minutes of discussion from Bibek Debroy quoting to the idea of natural science versus like physical science and human science, uh, all this debate and discussion is expected that you have in your level of understanding at the standard 10th level itself. When you are studying polity and, or rather, civics and history, and when you are studying, and history and civics is also trying to prove its point, and when you are studying biology and chemistry and physics, you should have a clarity about why they are different. And if that has to be discussed at this age, that means something more is required to be fixed. All right. So anyway, yes, there is a lot of domain with respect to exploration of science. I mean, the idea of crests and troughs related to shadow, you people are not giving this example, let me give this example. Okay. So crests and troughs, the idea related to crests and troughs leading to the shadow, that idea was not initially perceived. So there was a different scientific explanation to the idea of shadow, which later changed. Or Heisenberg's theory, if you see, it is based on uncertainty. It is based on the principle of uncertainty. So it's not that everything in science is certain, but majority of it is proved, validated, universally acceptable, and universally it has been tested over the time period for centuries. And thus the principles, laws are created in science. In human science, you don't have laws because it is based on interpretation. Mostly human sciences, laws you understand, no? I hope you're not taking law as legal, administrative, coercive modes that we create as law. That is a different law. When I'm saying Archimedes principle is a law, gravitation as a law, okay, theory of motion associated with law. So that's why in human sciences we cannot create law on an average in general, but in natural science we can create a law, and that's why natural science can be validated, proved, tested. Okay. So anyway, when we are talking as Newton's law, when we are talking about it, yes. So do not get mixed up about it. All those students for whom this is a breathtaking information, oh my god, I never thought like this, or I never knew about these things, you need to learn, you need to know. And decent enough, you, because the component of myth can be asked in a different level with respect to reason. In any essay, if you get the component of reason, there was this question that was asked in GS paper 1, that in the absence of reason, tradition slips into obscurantism just 2 years back. And students who could not understand this GS mains question related to social issues, paper 1, they could not even attempt it. And that was based on what we are discussing right now. That if you lose reason, a reasoning mind, are you understanding all those students who are asking this question? First, it started with Rahul. So, Rahul, are you able to connect with this? Yeah. So, if you, when we are speaking of this given subsegment, you need to understand that the question that was asked associated with obscurantism actually discussed this given debate that we are indulging in. That without reasoning, when we lose reasoning, okay, so without reasoning, if we are following a tradition blindly, it will lead to obscurantism. That was the question that was raised. So, Rahul, are you present? Are you still there? I'm taking your name specifically because the like discussion started with you. Are you there? देखो यही होता है चमत्कार, सुनेंगे भी नहीं और जिद पे भी अड़े रहेंगे. अच्छा चलो, thank God, finally he is responding. I hope you are attentive and all the students are attentive. All right, and I hope all of you are like getting it. It's not a GS class. I'm leaving the answer of obscurantism to all of you. I'm not meandering and I won't start discussing about the answer related to obscurantism. Find the answer, try to find it out. Okay. No, I did not shake the foundation of Hindutva. Because Hinduism and Hindutva are two different things. Hindutva is associated with politicizing Hinduism. Okay. Politicizing any religion can be dangerous. It happened in Europe also when they tried to politicize Christianity and bring it in the segment of religion. That is problematic. Politicizing Islam, we can see that in central parts of Asia, that can be problematic. Okay, no religion should be politicized. Okay, it should be a matter of, we can say, community harmony. It should be a matter of public practice as well as private practice related to social cultural affairs of the society. It should not intermingle with the politics. Anyway, one thing. Second thing, when we speak of Hinduism, if you go into the foundations of Hinduism, and I don't know how many of you have actually read it, if you actually get into the segment of ancient Indian philosophy and how the ancient Indian philosophy is getting shaped, which is popularly called Sanatanism or Hinduism today. If you get into the roots of it, you see that it starts with Sankhyism. And Sankhya Darshan or Sankhya philosophy is based on completely on reason. Sankhyism also gives you the, in Sanatanism, you get the freedom to be an atheist. An atheist does not mean non-believer of God. Atheist means someone who's questioning and finding his or her own spiritual path without necessarily being dictated by anyone else. That's also a branch in Sanatanism. It's just that present generation follows what is being preached from the top. Okay, coming from social media, coming from parents, coming from neighborhood, they themselves are not inquiring the original religious textbooks. If you are actually inquiring the original textbooks, you will see that how the principle of reasoning has been at the core of Sanatanism. Don't believe anything till the time you can reason it out. Read Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. You'll get an idea. Anyway, let's get into it. With respect to the segment of the next topic. So you have to debate the topic and you have to come up with the idea of intervention. So I started with an easier topic. You all could see this. Men have failed, let women take over. Seeing the face of the topic, you're like, yes, it is debatable. Second topic, a little tricky, a little tough. Fulfillment of new woman in India is a myth. It does not seem to be debatable till the time I kept it under the segment of debatable. It is only when you saw that, oh, it is debatable, ma'am is saying it is debatable, due to which word? So then you noted, oh, the word myth rather than myth. If big challenge was given, it would have been a better word. Then further moving ahead, now this is another, because now you're comfortable with the issues of gender. Let us change the concern of the topic. This one, social media is inherently a selfish medium. Okay, if you're saying yes, then why? Why is social media inherently a selfish medium, people? Yes, people? Okay, sure, Zuhair, I'll take care of it. So yes, why is it a selfish medium? People become self obsessed, okay, creating individualism, misleading information. All right, all right. So there can be misleading information, you're saying. I agree. So misleading information, we can take it, connect it with post truth world. They bring sensitive topic in their of their interest, show off of some people, TRP. Okay, so TRP, some people are saying that it is associated with uh, okay, fake news. So post truth is related to fake news. So imaginary world, imaginary, show off, pretension, other words for it. So constant pretension. Okay, rumor mongering. All right, so rumor mongering. Anyone not understanding any word, find it in dictionary immediately. Okay. I was not audible because the batteries had conked off. We were getting it fixed. All right. So when we were discussing about this, social media is inherently a selfish medium. We need to understand like that why it is so. So we can connect it with spreading the rumor or rumor mongering, imaginary or show off, or the nature of pretension, whereby we can connect it with the selfie culture. Okay, so selfie culture provides platform to express oneself, use your personality, depends on some personal concerns, boost image. It may lead to narcissist tendencies. Nevertheless, it can also provide common concern. Okay, all right, fine. Jadav, you could bring in the balance. That's what we are discussing from multiple perspectives. It makes the youth lazy. Okay. How does it make the youth lazy, Santosh? Okay. Yes, that it can be associated with cyber bullying also. Cyber bullying, it is just an example, cyberbullying, though core ideas has to be associated with the initial segments. Okay, sensationalism, if you are suggesting, yes. So, sensationalism, relying whole day on social media. Okay, okay, all right, that's the reason. Okay, fine. So, you all are getting why social media is inherently a selfish medium, right? Then, no. If it is not a selfish medium, then what is the counter argument? Yes. Yes, you can connect it with cyberbullying, fraud, like when we are talking about misleading information, manipulation that can lead to communal strife, communal, regional violence. Okay, all that is there. Okay, why is it no? Okay, so it is not a selfish medium because it is spreading information. This component of spreading information, we can see it, it is a like profound tool of globalization. We could see it's like in example you can think of like during covid like 19, during covid-19, what kind of intervention was carried forward by social media when we are speaking of it. Okay, so spreading information, like it is easing the process of understanding, right? So covid-19, we could get the idea about beds, hospital beds, all the oxygen cylinders. Okay, so that's there. So we can also connect it with, okay, it can boost economy. All right, so it can boost economy, it can facilitate the like survivability of a lot of people. So we could see a lot of people got employed because of the social media, right? So yes, it can be associated with employment. What else, what else? Okay, it can facilitate charity. So charity with respect to crowdfunding, we all can see that also happening, right? Okay, it can be associated with exercising, like okay, it can spread education. So spread education, we can connect it with multiple, we can say online platforms, right? So multiple online platforms, whereby we can say free education is reaching out to people. Okay, it can also help to secure human rights, raise voice against injustice, right? Raise voice against injustice. So briefly speaking, you all are getting it, like, this idea. Large social connect is a tool of globalization, so incorporated. Accountability, yes, because of that, we can consider that. We are in the mode of connecting, Bhumika, so not right now. Okay. So just like let the rhythm be absorbed in totality. All right. Providing platform for engagement to unknown people. Yes, so very true. Awareness, engagement, connecting people. So very true. Yes. It is riot or right. It is riot. R-I-O-T, riot. When we are talking about communal, then it is riot. R-I-O-T, riots. Okay. Rights, no, it will be incorrect. Nikhat. So communal harmony, strengthening social fabric. Yes, the reverse points also are equally correct. Yes, it can bring in transparency in the system and reduce corruption. So that point can also be considered over here. Work as grievance redressal mechanism. Yes, so very true. Yes, danga is for riots. Yes, yes, yes. So all of you are getting this. Like, social media, the moment we speak of it, the modification of mobile phone is a byproduct of social media. When mobile phones were launched, initially it was considered that it will be a tool for dissemination of information, spreading of information. But what did we see? That rather than spreading information, it got into the process of, rather than spreading information, it got into the process of um, we could see that it started creating an imbalance. And what was the nature of imbalance that social media started creating? So we saw that people started posting about their own self. When the mobile phone started getting a basic camera, people started clicking pictures. Various companies, they caught hold of the idea that, okay, camera is the special feature which people need. That is the market demand. Some people are purchasing the phone only because of camera. So companies like Oppo and all, Chinese companies, they came in context and they started providing cheaper phones with amazing camera quality, like very superb. And then that's what we all could see, that like pictures were taken by people, by individuals accordingly. And further, when we keep like debating and discussing what kind of other tools and gadgets were being used, we all can like connect with, like, the different types of interventions which can be associated with it. But anyway, the selfie camera, the camera not only in the back but also in the front of the phone, was a mark of the social media being inherently a selfish medium, because human beings wanted to get self captured. They wanted to document their own autobiography, their own life, their own daily movement. And it's so amazing to do things without getting documented, without necessarily putting it out for the public, for them to know, for them to like realize what all you are capable of. So that's there. And yes, that is also something which opens the door for hacking personal data. So very true. So that's there. Yes, it also gives the space for blogging, whereby you can just like, spread information, you can spread a lot of insight. And it is so helpful for the larger world, via blogging, coming to know about things and specificities. It is also a platform which is associated with a lot of information that is now pouring through YouTube. So endless possibility of finding any kind of information that you want. You can find it on YouTube, any kind of information, random information. You just search and you'll find some or the other logic related to it. So yes, cyber attack and honey trap, all that. So cyber bullying, fraud. So in that you can keep adding the points, right? So I think all of you are like associated with this given idea. So social media, social is also there. That's why the answer no will be connected to the component of social. And the moment you say yes, substantiate selfish. That's what. So the debate is associated with the two. Yes, the Me Too movement also gained its momentum courtesy this. Today, majority of the social movements, they try to register their presence and acceptance via social media. That's also there. Okay. So as you are gaining some kind of confidence related to this topic, I think now you are little matured to handle a philosophical topic. Okay. So let us play with a philosophical topic. See here. So here we all can see this topic. Reality does not conform to the ideal, but confirms it, right? What is the method that I have trained you so far? Memorize the topic. Memorize it like by repeating it multiple times. Initially, social media, a boon or curse, both, Prashant. It depends on how you're using it, okay? So it is about sociology and psychology more than technology. Social media is about nowadays everything, because it is also empowering us with technological know-hows. Anyway, so like reality does not conform to the ideal, okay, but confirms it. This given topic, as all of you can see. What is expected? First, memorize the topic thoroughly. Reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. Reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. Be very thorough with this topic. I want each one of you to be capable to respond to the explanation of this given statement. Reality. What is reality? What's happening around us? What we can experience? What can be observed? So, reality, that is experienced, observed, okay, happening around us, right? So all of you can understand. Does not conform. What is the meaning of conform? Yes, people, what is the meaning of conform? Okay, all right, it is not following. Okay, so follow. We can also use a word according to. It is not according to. According to. All right, the ideal. What is the ideal? When we speak of it, the ideal means the values, the standards of the society. Values, standards of the society. And then it is saying but. It is negating the statement, but confirms it. It is for what? Yes, people, it is used for what? What is it used for? Okay, okay, all right, all right. Different people typing different types of answers. Okay, fine. So all those people who are writing it is used for reality, huh? Just repeat it in your own head, all those people. And those who are writing time, truth, okay, some extra special answers, and also society. So just like, I don't know from where you're arriving at it, first repeat the sentence in your own head. Reality does not conform to the ideal but confirms it. So if I open the statement but confirms it, how will it open up for us? So reality does not conform to the ideal, but it would be reality confirms the ideal. That's what it would imply. So it is associated with what? The ideal, not ideal. It is associated with the ideal. Okay. I hope all of you are understanding that. So reality does not conform to the ideal, but confirms it. So reality does not conform to the ideal, but reality confirms the ideal. That's what it implies. Now, what does the word confirm mean? Prashant, don't jump the gun. Follow the systematic order of like interpreting it clearly. Okay. And then you'll arrive at the given statement. Chinnu, you're writing, ma'am, read mine, please. What yours, please? Keep writing your answer, because everyone is responding and twice and thrice they are responding. So I'll miss like the statement that you've written. So keep repeating your statement. That's how I'll be able to notice it. Okay. Confirms. What is confirm? Okay. It validates something else other than validates. Okay, so validates, as Nitesh, Abhijit are suggesting, validates. Okay, it assures. Okay, other than assures, what else can we consider? Can we say proves? Proves. Why not ideal? Ideal can be any ideal. The topic says the ideal. It is a specific ideal. So you have to write the ideal only, not just ideal. That's why it is incorrect. Okay. So, okay, affirms, very good. Affirms, ensures. All right. So we have got something like this. We cannot write pakka pakka, Shivani, because if I write pakka pakka and kacha kacha, it will not make sense when we are reading the essay. We have to stick to the language in which we are solving the answer, right? Okay. So with respect to this, yeah, ratify can also be there. Certify, agreed. Okay. So certify, ratify. Now play with this. Reality is not according to the values or standards which are set by the society. Our reality is not according to the standards or ideals or values of the society. Rather, but के लिए दूसरा word भी use कर सकते हैं. So you can use the word rather. Okay. So rather, it is reality that is proving, that is assuring, that is validating the ideal. It is reality that is proving whether the ideal truly exists in our life or not, whether ideals are a part of our daily experiences or not. It is reality that is proving it. Can you understand this? So what is the statement saying? First and foremost, when we are trying to understand, that's why, see, philosophical essay needs greater indulgence than a regular essay. And that's why you can understand why I did not touch philosophical essay in the first 3 days. Because first 3 days your basics were getting built. Today, I'm just giving a sneak peek to philosophical essay. This is how it is interpreted. This is how you try to make sense out of it. Okay? So reality is not according to the ideal, but reality confirms the ideal, proves the ideal. How? So let me give a simplistic example. Like, let's say, if someone is saying that we respect women, we treat women as larger than life. We really respect them. We treat them as female goddess or female deities. We really respect women like that. On Durga Puja, we wash the feet of young girls, young kids, and girls who have yet not become teenagers. And after washing their feet, we feed them with puri and all that stuff, whatever people are feeding the kanjaks with. So when we are speaking of this, reality does not conform to the ideal. So when people are saying that we believe in women empowerment, we respect women, we treat women as larger than life, we treat them as female deities. So reality is not according to the ideal. You are saying your ideal is respecting women in the larger scenario. So your ideal is respecting the women, but your reality is not in consonance with it. Your reality is not in consonance with it. So reality is not according to the ideal. Rather, it is the reality that is proving whether you are living the ideal or not. So it is the NCRB data that will prove whether you really treat your women as female deities or respect them, or you really regard them or not. It is the reality, the facts and figures, the crime rate, the general treatment in day-to-day life that shall prove, that shall confirm what your reality is, or whether your ideals are lived on ground, are a part of your experiential truth or not. So reality is not according to the ideal, means reality is not based on ideal. Ideals are not shaping the reality. It is the reality that is proving whether the ideals truly exist on ground or not. Is everyone understanding this fact, this one-sided aspect? Everyone? Yes? Swarufuddin, if I take a break right now, will it make sense to you? If after break I'm again giving the counter explanation, will it not be good that you just take some conceptual clarity? In UPSC exam, how will you write the answer for 3 hours non-stop? Because there is no break, and if you take a break, you will miss an answer. And if you miss an answer, your selection will be gone. So try to build some mental stamina. Because you are a beginner batch, so we give a break. Okay, but you see in the mains batch, and this is the mains portion, in real mains batches, which are like, for example, I'll be taking one just next week for this, again, the portion of essay only. I'm mentally prepared for take it not only non-stop for 3 hours is what we have allocated. It can go for 3.5, 4 hours, anything. It depends on the students, how far they are ready to hustle. Okay. Now, so, oh, that must be like really hectic. Continuous classes since morning, that must be hectic, beyond doubt. Agreed. But I'll just take the break after this. I'm not denying I won't take the break. All I'm saying is that let us first finish this discussion. Okay. Yes. Can everyone understand this? Reality? Reality is not according to our ideal. What we are unfolding on ground level is not on the basis of the social standards or values that we have. Rather, it is reality that is proving, that is assuring, what our true ideals are, whether our true ideals are exercised like on ground or not. Okay, so everyone is understanding this? Yes, everyone is understanding this bit? Okay, fine. So when everyone is understanding this given segment, then let us think about the counter statement. Counter, opposite. Can we consider that our ideals are also shaping our reality, people? Are ideals also shaping our reality? Okay, like for example, which ideal is shaping our reality? So here, like for the statement, I gave you the example of like women. Women worshipped as deities, or women respected as deities. Okay, oh, women respected as deities. Um, Ideals are talking about women empowerment, and in reality, I gave you, but in reality, crime rate. Crime against women is high. So, reality is not based on ideal. Okay, reality is proving whether the ideal is lived on ground or not. Right. Now, against. Under the component of against the topic, I am saying that ideals shaping reality. And I asked all of you for the example that what ideals are shaping our reality. Aircraft, Ramraj Jai Hai Bhagwan. Okay, और कुछ patriarchy, can failure, vegetarianism, non-violence, geopolitical. Okay. Satyamev Jayate. Okay. It is an ideal. Does it impact our reality? When we speak of honesty, integrity, accountability in the system, so honesty, accountability, transparency, right? All these things that we discuss that should be there, which is also considered legal. The reason why the Puja Singhals get arrested, it is because they are not abiding by the ideals of the society. Okay, so honesty, accountability, transparency, like these, like we can say action, this action that we take on ground, action on ground based on them, is proving this given possibility. Yes, we can think of Panchashil, but Panchashil, when we are talking about it, is it the ideal, quote unquote, right? When we are talking about the possibility of ideal, yes, we can think of it. Something more? You can think of ahimsa. You can think of the idea of satya or satyagraha. Okay. You can think of, yes, you can think of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You can think of Sarva Dharma Sambhava. All these ideals, okay, Sheelam Param Bhushanam, so very true. So all these can be associated with, yes, Atiti Devo Bhava. Okay. So all Samadama Danda Bhed, so very true. So all of you can connect with all this, right? So this is how we can see the ideals are shaping our reality. Hence, saying that reality is not based on ideal is an improper, we can say, like we can say, interpretation. Is that making sense. Now multiple examples you can quote, multiple segments you can take, right? But is it making sense now that philosophical essays can also be debatable in nature? And this is how you debate the philosophical essays. I hope that's making sense to all of you, right? Okay, great. So we have stepped into the domain of philosophical essay. Congratulations. Now this is your first breakthrough related to philosophical essay. All you realize is it needs a deeper level of reflection, a deeper level of reading and interpretation, and yes, a definite understanding of vocabulary. Someone struggling with conform and confirm will be blown in the wind, as simple as that. So a bit of vocabulary, and moreover capability to connect it with all that you have studied from the past. Okay, history, art and culture, ethics, like all everything that you have studied, Indian society, economics, IR, bring it all, blend it, create it. All right, so we'll take a break. It is 7:04. Topic related to all the segments of brain mapping which I've shared. And that's why I said that memorize the brain mapping sheet. That is the key to answers to a lot of problems that you may have. Okay, so be very thorough with the brain mapping sheet. All right, deep pondering is the key to philosophical essays. Yeah, I mean, like mincing the words and understanding the world of words. Like, in Gurbani, there is a word Shabad. Shabad means world. When we say that understand the world of words, Shabd ka Shabad pehchano. Okay, understand the world behind the words. When you understand the world behind the words, you are able to quantify it. You are able to substantiate a lot of segments associated with it. All right. So, as you are gaining some confidence associated with this, like, tomorrow is Friday and we have the session till Monday, right? So, what I'll do is tomorrow towards the end, I'll give you a topic, okay, a philosophical topic or two philosophical topics for you to ponder, to create, to connect, to reflect, and to, like, arrive at the insights associated with it. Think, do that on weekend, so that on Monday, when I discuss philosophical essays, I can do some practice also related to like a topic or two, philosophical topic, right? We'll do that. So Satyamev Jayate is in action, is there on ground? Yes, why not, Nikhat? Tell me something. If you're a dishonest officer and you're caught hold by ED, okay, will you be like walking scot free? Is it possible? Any officer who is proved to be dishonest, can the officer really survive the system? And if the officer cannot survive the system, the officer will be suspended. So I think that you understand. I think that you understand that Satyamev Jayate is in action. It is in action. It's just that so many people are dishonest in so many ways at subtle level. Students become dishonest with their preparation. Like teachers may become dishonest with respect to their updation. Like, a doctor may become dishonest with his profession, a lawyer can become dishonest, an engineer can become dishonest. So in the face of looming sense of dishonesty, whereby honesty has to be made a conscious choice, any of them caught red handed, that will backfire in terms of their career, their social reputation, their acceptance, even the growth, right? So I think, Nikhat, you have the answer. Ideals never change, irrespective of the fact how many are following it. Just because you are having bad examples around you, that does not mean the ideals don't exist and there are people not following it. A lot of them are following it in and around you, if you actually notice. And that's why systems are surviving. Ahimsa really exists. Yes, it does. And that is the reason why India like follows the principle of non-aligned movement. Hmm? Think about it. You have to study in depth. It is no more skimming the milk and then moving ahead. It is about delving deep, connecting it with all subjects, and then taking out the essence. Because every subject has the component of philosophy, every subject. And that's the reason we all can see that, like, there is PhD in every subject, MPhil in every subject, right? So, delving deep, the space and scope is there. You don't have to delve so deep as PhD or MPhil, but you should be capable to reflect upon the essence of every topic that you study in GS. All right, now. So, okay, Sridevi had read your post. Don't worry. You had written like the question mark was associated with Raja Harishchandra. I had seen the question. Yes, that could have been used with respect to this given segment, but how you would justify is something that is there. How will I write still suffering? How will you write still suffering? Practicing is the key to the suffering. So just do practicing, your suffering will go. That's the answer, Rajan. Got it? Even after appeals by Mahatma Gandhi, violence took place at every point of war of independence. Yes, yes, yes. During freedom struggle, that was. Human beings have a natural tendency to lose patience. And when you exercise humanity, it is then that you exercise tolerance and patience. Very normally speaking, a child is coming and irritating you. There's a fair chance you'll feel like hitting the child rather than talking it out, talking sanity with patience multiple times, even if it requires 50 times or 100 times. There are times when children irritate me and I have the tendency to retaliate by irritating them back and giving them a flavor of their own medicine and telling them how did it feel. And the child feels really restless and agitated and runs away. So why to hit the child when the child can be trained and taught about the real life miseries by getting a like sneak peek of the real life, we can say, adventures which unfold around us. So that's something which we all can understand. Natural tendency to deviate from the main path. Yes, that's there. Okay. So I got this medicine first time, but of low power. Great, great, great. Okay. So with respect to this, you can see this. Customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. All right, this one, see this. We are still not like completely through. This is the fourth session. Every single minute of the session counts to create a breakthrough. What to deal with: word bank, sentence bank, organization of essay, okay, sources to refer, philosophical essays. So many core areas are still left, and these core areas have to be dealt in the today's session as well as tomorrow, day after, and on Monday. So that's why every single minute of the session will count. Mind it. I'll open new realms. Last philosophical essay for the day, debatable essay, last debatable essay, and then we'll move to organization of essay. Reflect upon this one. Yes, people. So customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. Interesting fact is, all of you understand what is custom and what is morals. And you understand that the moment customary morality gets clubbed, it is not associated with individual morals, it gets associated with the societal values, right? So customary morality, so the customs, traditions which are guiding the society, the we can consider the ideals or the values which are a part of our customs. Okay, so ideals or values which are a part of our customs is what it implies by customary morality. Cannot be a guide to modern life. What does the word modern life imply? Okay, just be thorough with GS papers, especially paper 4 and art, culture, history, Indian society. That will be greatly helpful, Sundaresh. Other than that, also a decent reflection of all other GS papers is sufficient for this preparation of essay, because we have still not started unfolding a lot of topics. So far, you see, like when I discussed about the women related topics, I gave a lot of content or food for thought for general studies, right? So GS is providing a lot of content for the preparation of this given area. Okay. सुबह उठते ही लक्ष्मी माँ आती है. Is it connecting? How is it connecting, Baba? Okay, so customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. First, let us consider what is modern life. Let us discuss that. What is modernity, people? Okay, modern notions: liberty, equality, fraternity. Okay, liberty, equality, fraternity. So these are like modern values. Yes. What is modernity still? What do you understand by modernity? Technology. Okay, usage of technology can also bring you closer to modernity. Very good. One of them, Aditya said, being logical is being modern. Something more? Something more? Being rational. Very good. Pallavi is saying being rational is being modern. Okay, something more? Okay, being pragmatic. Very good, Devesh. So, sorry, Devansh. So, being pragmatic. So, pragmatic. Something more? Okay, treating equally, reasonable, complexity. Okay, very good. Scientific. When we are scientific, we are modern. Very good. This is what. So, pragmatic, realistic. Okay. Now, pragmatic, logical, rational, scientific. Four core words associated with the term modernity when we speak of it. The manifestation of it will be in the form of liberty, equality, fraternity. It will be in the form of technological breakthroughs with a sense of rationality, that how to use technology and what are the boon and bane. So the element of boon and bane associated with technology will be there. Yes, you will be secular, as one of you was suggesting, secularism, tolerance, right? So that is also a part of modernity. Basically, modernity, when we speak of it, it is a byproduct of period of enlightenment, industrial revolution and French revolution, whereby human beings, they stopped following religion blindly, whereby they stopped, like, having a metaphysical existence or a philosophical existence, what should be there, what ought to be there. So rather than inquiring about ought and should, they started working what is there. Okay, so what is? So rational, logical, scientific temperament to inquire about the possibilities of human existence is a modern approach. Modernity, when this phenomena it unfolded in, we can see, the West with respect to period of enlightenment, industrial revolution and French revolution, many thinkers perceived it to be a Western idea. But in every civilization, through various types of thinkers, philosophies, we can see the inquiry of modernity has existed. So modernity is not an exclusive Western import. Beyond doubt, the modern institutions of democracy and, we can say, certain modern inquiries and practices, the credit does go to the West for establishing it, for formalizing it. But beyond doubt, civilizations across the world have had their own inquiry to modernity over the centuries. So we cannot deny and we cannot exclusively reward the West for bringing modernity in our context. All right. So with respect to this, when we are discussing about the component, first we are understanding the given statement. All right. Then we'll start with for. So all those students who have been writing so far, I was just noticing very briefly all the statements that you were writing. So like, ma'am, in this topic, regarding only this topic, what would be the opposite of modern? So we are not talking about opposite of modern. We'll discuss what needs to be opposite of this statement, what has to be discussed against. Okay, Kaushik, we'll just arrive at it. So modernism is accepting the current practices which differs from ancient traditions. No, not really. That's also an incorrect or faulty idea, Prashant. If any ancient or traditional practice which is scientific, logical, rational, it gets incorporated in modernity and it is continued, it is sustained. So that will again be a faulty idea, and that is the counter argument of this given statement. Okay, Prashant? Anyway, you got the hint beforehand. That was kind of premature. Let us just reflect upon this statement. So, customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. All right. With respect to this given statement, how can evolution from the past events called a modern life? Santosh, when you understand the word modern, you understand that anything from the past can be modern. Suppose someone in your family or in your neighborhood or, like, in your society, if you've seen the person is driving a swanky car but is abusing a poor person, is spitting on the road, is littering on the streets, such a person is not modern. Just by wearing specific kind of clothes or driving a car or having a, like a latest gadget, mobile phone, this and that, does not make a person modern. Raja Ram Mohan Roy is considered as the modern man of India because he spoke of gender justice, gender equality, doing away with practices associated with sati, child marriage, exploitation of widows. That's why he's a modern man. So the idea of modernity is not like associated with technology and contemporary. Please be very clear. People living in contemporary times in our own houses, in our own neighborhood, in our own society can be equally traditional, or rather than saying the word traditional, I would say regressively traditional, can be quite negative in their attitude towards, we can say, balance, justice, and principles of modernity. They can be highly unmodern, or we can say ill civilized. That can be possible. So the idea of modernity is not something which is exclusive to contemporary or present times. All right, Santosh, I hope that's clear. So Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam is also a modern principle. Yes, that's why it is connected with the principles of globalization. Customary morality embraces, no, customary morality embraces sati. Do you really consider that? No, not really. Not really. Still not getting close to the topic. Communication is the best tool to create barrier between modern and non-modern. Communication can encourage clarity of facts. Societal belief, male hegemony, okay, paternity, all right, fine. Women's status, relevant past, okay, Jyoti, all right. So Kavana and SS and Ashna and Santosh, all right, fine. So as like you people are coming up with a lot of explanations and insights, how actually it should have been dealt. All topics of essay are contradictory. How did you arrive at it? Just by seeing 4 topics. It is a rare phenomena, but it is a phenomena. This has to be taught so that you know that UPSC topics can be debatable. Out of 8 topics, if suddenly one is debatable and you don't notice that it is debatable, you won't be giving the flip side of the topic in the essay. And with a unidimensional approach, you will end up losing marks. All right. So I hope that is clear, Prashant. All right. All the topics of essay are not contradictory, and you would have understood it if you would have seen day 1 slide properly. The day 1 slide of essay technology part 1, I had given questions from 2017 to 2022. If you would have gone thoroughly through it, you would have realized that rarely debatable topics come, but they do come. And when they come, you should have the realization or understanding. All right, now, so with respect to this, first and foremost, what should be the approach? So the approach should first be to prove customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life. So first you will discuss how few or specific customs or traditions lead to illogical practices and behavior which can lead to imbalance or inequality or injustice. Again, you can discuss how these regressive customs and traditions lead to supporting superstitious uh, superstitious attitudes. Okay, so you need a lot of example of those superstitious practices. You can connect it with a lot of domains, okay, of present social practices. Some maybe some political practices, maybe some practices which can be associated with economic affairs of day-to-day life. So you can connect with all of it, okay. And after this, you will present the against segment. In against, you will discuss how customary, those customs, that would be a better word, those customs and traditions that are based on larger principles, human values are still relevant and connected to modernity. Okay, they need to be propagated further. Here you can borrow the content from here. We were discussing, no, this Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, Sarvdharm Sambhava, Satyamev Jayate, Sheelam Param Bhushnam, all these ideals. So they are a part of your customary morality. You can connect with Ahimsa, Panchashil, all of it. So like because we are talking about customary morality. Morality means ideals, values, principles. Okay. So talk about those principles which have been borrowed from the past, which have shaped the ideas of humanity, ideas which have led to equanimity and balance for the civilization. Bring those ideas on and try to bring it. Yes, you can think of like those possibilities. So and then discuss that the debate is due to cannot. Cannot is too deterministic. Okay, too deterministic, as customs, traditions, or customary morality. I can just write on as customary morality can be a guide to modern life. Now, rather than customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life, if it was written may not be, so it would have been correct. Okay, you can see the space and scope for debate. All right. So this is how you're supposed to discuss. Yes, you can talk about human sacrifice. I know, Santosh, it raked you from the core, and that's why you are on and off remembering it. So yes, when you're talking about for, you can think of that. Okay. Praxis in many household that working girl married ensure safety contradictory to her freedom to follow her dreams. Yes, Devansh, you can think of that. Yes. So history what is it? Fights of king cannot use downpool groups today's world. Okay, yes, yes. You can connect with those ideas also. Yes, glorifying the importance of a king, monarchy, and you can connect it with the issues associated with glorifying the position of a male as God, husband as a God. Yes, you can think of all that. Okay, now, so uh, with respect to this, yes, you can think of like now you people are able to think. That is what I had to trigger. That is what I had to encourage. Encourage you to think in a specific manner whereby you are able to arrive at the right set of understanding or insight with respect to its interpretation, right? Now, so all of you are understanding what are debatable essays and how these debatable essays come into existence. All of you can connect with these given ideas, right? So let us move further ahead. When we are further like moving ahead and explaining and exploring the given subsegments, we can further substantiate. So like debatable essay is through from my part. Now, after so much of practice, we will move to, before word bank and sentence bank, I will help you to come up with something more, and that is associated with organization of an essay. Let me just check if I have devoted a slide for it. Sentence bank, word bank, no, okay. So I can just take you straight away with respect to before the word bank. I can take you to organization of an essay. Organization of an essay. How is the organization done? Okay. This is something, ma'am, answer my question. Okay, Ruhan, what is your question? I need to see the question. I need to spot the question. As I told to all of you, that when you write a question, you have to keep writing it multiple times. When it is like sent multiple times, it is then I'm able to spot, because a lot of students keep sending their questions by and by. Okay, so Ruhan, can you just copy paste the question once again? Can you just copy paste it? It will be easier for you. Okay, now, so when we are speaking of this given segment, can modern life mean? Huh? What can modern life mean? Shivani, this is an incomplete statement. I've already explained what is like modernity. This has been already explained. I don't know why students. So I have already explained what is modernity. Shivani, can you see that? Can modern life mean? I could not make a sense of this sentence because the rhyme and reason of grammar was missing in this statement, Shivani. So I'll advise you, please frame the sentence in a better way. Ruhan, can you ask your question once again? We are not allowed to copy paste the text more than twice. Okay, agreed, Ashna, but I need to find his question. Okay, I have not spotted his question. Can the SME find Ruhan's question and then just like send it like this, or you just try to respond, because I'm not seeing his question in last 4-5 minutes. Now he has written, what is the meaning of Vasudhaika Kutumbakam? Oh my god, okay, that was the question. And he has asked this question, my goodness. Okay, something like 10 minutes back. In between, so much has come. Okay, 10 minutes back you had written and suddenly you're asking, Ruhan, are you connected? Because if I explain and suddenly if the child disappears, it will be a waste of words. So are you connected, Ruhan? Can modern life mean that one can enjoy life without harming anyone? Yeah, I mean, modernity is associated with exercising humanitarian principles. When you're logical or when you're rational, you do not go for harming or hurting anyone consciously or unconsciously. But deep down, as it is considered that living itself is an act of violence, because either the nature will get harmed or something will get impacted by it. And that is also something which Jainism speaks when it is talking about Sallekhana, the practice of Sallekhana. So okay, Ruhan, you're there. Okay, for here, beta, the spelling is HERE. Okay, here, not HEAR. You are hearing, it is listening. Okay, anyway, so the capability to like hear is associated with the ears, listening is attentively. So anyway, there are finer differences in that also. So Ruhan, when you asked what is the meaning of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Vasudha means the land, the earth. Vasudhaiva means Vasudha he. Okay, the land is, okay, Kutumbakam, the land is like an extended family. It is like an extended family. So the earth is like an extended family. The earth is like an extended family. That means we need to treat all human beings as like we, brothers and sisters, or as a member of extended family. And thus we should refrain from killing, abusing, misbehaving with another human being. That's the idea behind Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Treat everyone with compassion and treat every fellow citizen on this earth as a member of your extended family. That's the idea. I hope that's clear, Ruhan. No problem. You don't need to feel sorry. This is how you learn. This is how you learn. So, can we see this topic in negative sense, like there are some negative values which are followed, like some traditional values are still sacred for some people? Yeah. So, can you see, Nikhat? We have written something in half of the slide called against, and the against is associated with this idea. Against is associated with countering the statement, because not all customs and traditions are associated with broader human values, and that's why we question them, right? One family, one earth is an example. You cannot write in this manner, one family, one earth. Okay, a whole world acts as a family. Yes, that can be written, Nikhil. Okay, so all right, fine. So shall we move ahead with organization of an essay? All good from everyone's side? Everything well perceived? Can we say modern life as take your decision yourself? No, not really. Modernity does not mean arrogance. Modernity means you are being rational and logical. It does not mean that you become arrogant and haughty. You should be open to listen to your seniors, parents, friends, juniors, because anyone can come up with a better idea. The rational and logical approach is you listen to everyone. Maybe someone is having a better idea or a more logical take to living life. How about borrowing that idea and living a better life? So when a modern person is also a flexible person, And flexibility is something which is associated with survival of the fittest. It is written survival of the fittest, fittest, not strongest, not most intelligent. Survival of the fittest. And who is fittest? The one who's flexible, malleable, logical, who's ready to adapt. Okay? One world, one family. Yes, we can consider that, Govind, as Vasudev Kutumbakam. All right. Respecting dignity for others, Darwin's theory. Yes, I connected Darwin's theory, though here it was associated from the possibility of like this. I asked it, okay, fine. Nikhat, I hope your question has been addressed. Should we stay neutral in our essay if the statement is strongly debatable or for or against? Well, Kiruthiga, as I discussed, like for past like 2 hours, or rather I would say almost 2 hours, is what is the essence of the session. And if you were present from the beginning of the session, you must have realized that I discussed for and against both segments related to multiple topics. This, right? So you were supposed to like go for the for as well as against aspect, so that you come across to the examiner as a balanced human being, a person who is able to understand both sides of the coin and is able to choose the more balanced one. So you're supposed to present both the sides, why the topic is given and what is the rationale behind giving the topic, even if it looks lopsided or imbalanced, and then giving the more balanced side and then sticking to the more balanced side and then substantiating it further. That's the ideal way to go ahead with a debatable essay. That first you present both sides of the coin, you present both the components, both the debates, and then you are substantiating it with respect to the more logical, more balanced take on the topic. Okay, Kirutiga, I hope that's clear. Okay. In our past, socially not even one permissible to change any tradition, but now everyone has the power to speak, suggest when change is needed, is modernity. No, Onkar, it's not like that. In past also we were open to debate and discussion. Remember, in ancient India there was the culture of dissenting that was called shastrarth, and shastrarth was based on debating, discussing, and understanding which philosophy is best and why. So people used to debate and discuss. Different philosophers used to debate and discuss. Common people used to stand or sit, or they used to listen. Sometimes the debate used to last for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 1 hour, 2 hours, or sometimes it used to last for days. There were also tarkshalas. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. Okay, tarkshalas. Tarkshalas were basically like you have the word pathshala for school. In the similar manner, Tarkshala used to be a place where thinkers or intellectuals used to assemble, and they used to debate over two different contrary perspectives, and commoners, masses, or even other thinkers used to participate. They used to be witness to the situation, stand there and listen to what is logical and what is illogical. I also spoke just before the break, if you remember, I discussed about Sanatanism, and I spoke about like Sankhya philosophy. Sankhism was purely based on logic. So when a society is respecting logic, adhering to logic, glorifying logic, and constantly open to debate over the logical precision, what ought to be followed and what ought not to be followed, saying that in the past, we never believed in questioning or contradicting, this past that you think is more medieval and like a pre-independence. But if you see the larger segment of the word past, then you realize that we evolved as a civilization starting with logic. And logic was something that was respected at all times. Okay. So I hope, Onkar, that's getting clear. Yes, it is also in different areas like Divya, as you are saying, it is Tarkam. It must be called Tarkam somewhere else, but it is also associated with Tarkshala. You must be like knowing that place as also Tarkam, maybe called in some other part of India, but different places used to have these seats of power. In Varanasi also, people used to openly discuss. Okay, in courtyards, they used to, in marketplaces, there were spaces that were allocated. You could see these possibilities existing in central parts of India and Madhya Pradesh also. You can see, sometimes the courtyards of temples were treated for this purpose. Different kind of spaces. So, ancient days have great treasure of knowledge. Yes, so very true. If you actually become thorough with the understanding, yes, Basavanna's Mantapa for discussion, yes, you can connect with that also. So as you like start reading more and more history, and as you start developing your wholesome understanding of what you have inherited, it is then that you understand the importance of like evolution of civilization. Like the very famous professor Ramchandra Guha actually had stated this statement. It was not something which he spoke out of the blue. It has existed in the thoughts of different other thinkers as well, but he articulated it quite well. Like few years back, he said that any generation which has a failed understanding of its civilization is a failed generation. So, you need to understand what you have inherited. That's why it is important to know history in totality, not just like we can say NCRT books are basic prelude. They are good, they are qualitatively rich, they are a prelude. But beyond that, much more. Like, for example, I said Sankhism, it is a part of philosophy, optional students reading about Sankhism, but you talk about a regular, and I don't teach philosophy. Okay, I don't teach philosophy as an optional, so no one should reach out to me for philosophy optional, but just saying that. But a general understanding about ancient philosophy, if you just Google search, okay, the like ancient philosophy, and you see the images, in images you can see there are maps given. So there will be Sankhism, there will be yoga, there will be, after Sankhya and yoga you'll further see the derivations. Again you'll see Veda, after Vedas you'll see the Vedanta coming from Vedas and Upanishads. Vedanta will be a mixture of Sankhya, yoga, Veda and Upanishada, like a combination of all the philosophies clubbed together is Vedanta. So when you see Indian philosophy, how it has emerged, and when you have a comprehensive understanding of what the philosophies were talking about, how they have enriched our thought process, how they have enriched our way of thinking over the centuries, what we have kept, what we have lost, what should have been maintained, all that will help you in writing content related to essay also. Because what should have been maintained and what is lost definitely can be written in the essay, right? Anyway, moving ahead further, it's good, all those now suddenly like philosophy optional students have got activated suddenly. So like just sharing all this, so great, all those who are knowing about the yes, Mimamsa and Nyaya, very good, Jatin. So you can just, what I imply to say is just become like aware of what you have inherited on an average. Now, can we start? Any other questions? Because I don't want that I start with organization of an essay. This needs a very in-depth understanding and certain steps to follow. So is it okay? Should we start with organization of an essay? Yes? All right. Fine. So all queries taken. Now, organization of an essay. What needs to be followed? See, first and foremost, what is required is identify the 2 points or dimensions to be discussed after introduction and preceding conclusion. And 2 points, oh, pura hi like that. And 2 points, or we can say dimensions, preceding conclusion. Right? Then on a separate piece of paper, start noting down the tentative order of the paras. Tentative order of the paras by blending the points of brainstorming and brain mapping. Brainstorming and brain mapping. All right. Then after this, now, no, not now, wait. Keep the most important ideas that is core to the topic towards the beginning slash right after the introduction. Okay. Once the points have been enlisted, okay, keep the most important ideas, or we can consider core of the topic towards the beginning, right after introduction. No new idea, though I have given it in do's and don'ts of essay also, but still repeating, no new idea should be introduced in conclusion. Introduced in conclusion. Okay. Conclusion should have a sense of settlement. Okay. A sense of closure. Okay. So anyway, that's understood, so I'm not going to write. So once the points have been enlisted, write down the tentative word limit allocated for every point. If any point or rather, first let me discuss the possibility of the word. So like, if the total word limit is 1180 or more, then cut down few miscellaneous points. If the total word estimate is 1020 or less, then add few examples or miscellaneous points. Then add few examples or miscellaneous points, so that the requisite word limit Again I wrote world. Requisite word limit is respected. I'll explain this by writing it, like, drawing diagram and everything. First, you just need to pay attention to what I'm writing so that this stays with you. This is not something which is available in any grammar book. And this is something which will come with practicing. So I'm first like enlisting the theory for you. I'll explain it through a diagram, and then you'll understand it, and then you'll put it in practice. Okay. And then you'll realize the magnanimity of it, how much time taking this process is. Okay, because identification of priority of points is very tricky, especially for a beginner. With practice only you become more seasoned to identify. Anyway, so now this is there. If the total word limit is 1180 or more, and then this, okay, then you can also further substantiate that, like, now finally revise the order of the points, and if any reshuffling, is required, this is the last chance to do so. Okay. Finally, the formal and fair essay can be written. Okay. So these are the steps that you need to follow when we are talking about it. All right. And how to follow these steps, let us understand this. Okay. So with respect to this, let us understand this given subsegment. So here, what you're supposed to do is, see, you are like, let's say, this is your brain mapping or brainstorming sheet. Let me write down something like this. So brainstorming sheet in which you have randomly written points, whatever came to your mind in one go. Then let us consider this is your brain mapping sheet. So brain mapping sheet in which, like, you have created a list of points coming from various sub dimensions, whatever struck in your mind. So you started incorporating that, right? So various sub segments that you have opened up. Okay, brain mapping. Let us say a few points did not fit in this page. So next page also you have written something associated with this component of brain mapping. Does happen sometimes when you have more ideas. So like, let us say something related to brain mapping, few segments you further opened up. That's okay. Okay. After this, suppose in another page you have done like, and mind it, so far you have only consumed 2 pages. Okay, because one side, like one page has 2 sides, so that was. Now, like, let's say you have given a tentative structure to introduction, some key words guiding to what dimension of introduction you would open, and like, let's say you have a tentative structure to conclusion. Okay, so like tentatively what dimension you would open. Okay. After this, now comes the component of organization. So in organization of essay, what I'm suggesting to all of you, which should be followed by all of you at all times, is like, now I'm taking a bigger sheet so that you can visualize it better. Okay. And I'm just taking out the borders. Let us consider the borders are out. Okay. So this is already the border derived one. Okay. So in this sheet, what you're supposed to do is think about the introduction. After the introduction, identify which are the 2 most important points which should be written after the introduction and are the core or the essence of the topic. Okay. Now let us consider, I'm changing the color so that you can identify. So let us say after the introduction, you find something in brain mapping and brainstorming, both can be clubbed and created. So like, let's say for introduction and for conclusion, I I sometimes prefer alphabets more, okay, because numbers, like which should be the last number, can be tricky. But if you are fine with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, you can choose numbers also, okay. So there's no rigidity associated with enumerating how you are numbering it. So like let's say I find a point over here and I find another point over here. So I've written this as A1, this one as A2, and here I write down A. It has point number 1 and 2. After introduction, I am like consolidating this area. After that, I have identified the next point. Suppose I find it over here as B. So B. So I have identified two paras after introduction. Okay. Maybe I should have written I little like ahead and not where it is mentioned, because few students will have a tendency to revise and get confused. So I, or rather I should write the entire bit, because again, the power of few students I do know. So especially beginners, they can surprise and startle me like anything. So introduction, okay, this, then, okay, that is what you can understand. Now with respect to this, again I'm saying find the conclusion, and before the conclusion, whatever is the point of conclusion, find the initial two paras when we speak of it, okay. So what can be the initial two paras when we speak of it? So you can identify, like let's say the second last points that should be there. Suppose you find some point over here, okay, which should be like a part of the conclusion, so you are writing Z last point, okay. Suppose you find some point in just before the conclusion, some summative remark, some suggestion what you are finding important. So like let's say you find something like y1, y2, here also you find something, so you are like y3. So you are just putting it like y 1 2 3 1 2 3, and you are just giving it these are the segments, all right. After this, what you are supposed to do is try to identify the paras in between. So just start numbering them. So brainstorming, if it is not very organized, try to encircle the words and then write the point number. Like let's say C, or like D, or like let's say here you're finding E, F, something like G, H, I, J, whatever, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, okay, T, like that, okay. After T, suppose you did not find. So after that, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. After T you don't have point, no problem. Put a dot, dot, dot and connect it. Okay. Put segments associated with all these teeny tiny ideas, paras, and list them. And after enlisting them, try to identify the tentative word limit that you would like allocate them, how much words you will allocate to each point. Like for example, whenever you see a point, you can always guess the total word limit, right? For example, if I'm saying like I will first discuss about the importance of education, whereby I'll connect it with national education policy. So national education policy, if I have to discuss that a national education policy is associated with regulation, administration and development of the content, so I'll at least need 20 words. So that I would write that new national education policy, 3 words, okay, is not only associated with the development of education and its syllabus, but also the management and regulation of it. So see, it's 18 words. So the moment you are thinking about a tentative word limit, okay, so a tentative word limit is when you are tentatively guessing that this sentence I can write in 20 words, this I can write in 15 words, this I can write in 35 words, 40 words, whatever, which dimension, how much words I'll take. So maybe introduction, you have thought that I'll take like let's say introduction, suppose you think that I'll take 2 paras, so 40 plus 30, and after that the next point, it is again having 2 segments, so this will take 50, another segment will take 30, and like that you start enlisting. Okay, so in the similar manner, like conclusion, suppose you thought that you will take 70 words again, and it's not necessary it is 70 word, it can be 50, it can be 120, that's fine, that's perfectly up to you. There's nothing like ideal introduction, ideal suggestion, mind it, okay. So with respect to this, A1, A2 are part of introduction? No, they are the next 2 paras, okay, the first and the second para after introduction. and Y and Z are the second last and the last para, which I had discussed over here. If you see, you can see that identify the 2 points or dimensions to be discussed after introduction, and 2 points are dimensions preceding conclusion. So this is YZ and this is AB. I hope that's getting clear, right? Dheeraj, I hope you can connect with this, right? Okay. With respect to this, when we are further moving ahead, please tell us the 3 ways of conclusion you have mentioned in orderly manner. I have not. I have not proposed that that's the ideal thing. I said some students do that they provide a summative remark. Henceforth, we can say that, or uska education pe jitna likha hai, whatever they have created in education, they give a conclusion of it. That education is not just this, it is related to this, and this, and it also leads to this and that. So just giving a wholesome review of it is summative remark. Suggestion, you understand what is suggestion. So to strengthen the process of education, we need to do this, right? That's suggestion. And then conclusion, the larger ideal, you're opening, like for example, you're quoting APJ Abdul Kalam, that how the role of teachers and parents is the most crucial in educating the child and empowering the child from the grassroots. Okay, so that's how you break it up in 3 phases. Few students do that. Few students, they just gradually move towards the conclusion. So it's completely up to you. Okay, Sneha. Now, so as all of you are understanding this given segment, that try to identify after introduction 2 paras, like before conclusion 2 paras. So in total, your 6 paras are predetermined. And through the 6 paras, you have created an encapsulated whole, that I'll start with this and I'll end with this. And in between, you have to fill in the ideas. So the most important idea will not be missed, to be written just after the introduction. Don't meander and take yourself to the most important idea towards the end. Few students have that idea. No, the most important core idea should be towards the beginning, so that the examiner reads and gets impressed. Yes, this is the core of the topic. This is how it should have been written. This is how the important perspectives should have been opened up. So validate the most important points, validate the most important ideas towards the beginning. That is what is expected here. What I'm saying. So like 3 paras are already done over here, 3 paras are already done. So you are actually building a strong fort. You're starting on a very, I would say, high note and strong note, and you are concluding it again on a strong note. You are concluding it with most important or most relevant, we can say, ideas and perspectives per se. Okay, so that is how you can so most important components with which it should be concluded, with which it should be ended, which you feel, identify them from your content and put it in the component of conclusion. Okay, how to manage flow of paras, I'll talk about it. What words are used? Okay, flow of paras is on the basis of priority of the topic. Different topics will have different priority. If the topic is associated with environment, you'll have to discuss about environmental points towards the beginning. Okay, human intervention related to environmental points towards the beginning, political decisions related to environmental points after that. Like that, you have to grow with it. Then economic resources, this, that. So you can always choose the logical order on the basis of the information you have and as per the suitability of the topic. If it is a philosophical topic, we can't start straight away with economic dimension. That will not make sense. It should come little later. If it is a philosophical dimension, talk about some subliminal reflections pertaining to ethics or art and culture or history or human society and its evolution. Getting it? So that's how it works. Can you give any example of core components? We will be discussing, Santosh. That's why I said that I will be discussing philosophical topics and its content. I'll be giving you homework also tomorrow. 2 topics I'll give you. You'll prepare, you'll come, and then I will discuss how it should have been developed and discussed. Okay. So that's the approach when we are talking about it. While writing, I feel I start very nicely, but end is pretty dull. So that you need, that's why you need to work on the possibility that how to end it up on a magnanimous note, so that when it is ending, it is full of hope, it is full of aspiration, it is full of like a change and a promise for future. Okay. All right. Now, so with respect to this given subsegment, now in between the paras are there, and like let's say few points can have certain sub dimensions, right? It is fairly possible that few points have like a certain dimension which you have taken up. So 1 2 1 2, those dimensions can be there. Okay, enlist the like order of para, because please understand it's 18 pages. 18 pages, you cannot mentally think, okay, now I'll write this, I'll write that. No. Organize it on a piece of paper so that you don't mess up with the order of the para. So organize it on a piece of paper. And then after that, calculate the total word limit. Suppose you're calculating and the total word limit is coming 1180. Then it is a risky proposition, because I told you this is a tentative word limit. This is a tentative word limit that you are creating. So because of tentative word limit, it is you're writing 1180, you're thinking, oh, you'll write in 1180 words. What if while explaining you elaborate upon the content? What if your words stretch up, you add few more extra words and you keep doing that? You thought it is 1180 and it slips and it becomes like 1250 or something like that. 40-50 words can get added in such a huge essay if it is of 12 pages or 18 pages as per your handwriting. So there is a possibility that while explaining you get little detailed, and rather than 1180 it slips further. 1180 is a risky proposition. So if it is 1180, cut it short. Cut it short and make it something right, like I would say like just bring it little. So cut down 1 or 2 points. Okay, so 1180, then cut down few points. Cut down, I would say, miscellaneous points. Miscellaneous points which you find is not so relevant, not core to the topic. Just eliminate those points. They are unnecessary. They are causing a garbage kind of impact. Okay, so you can just do away with it so that you are sticking to the word limit. 1150, 1160 is a safer bet. Okay, or like let's say 1100, 11,050. So something between 1050 to 1150 is a safer bet. If it is exceeding, become careful. If it is closer to 1180, become more careful and cut down or slice down few points if it is necessary. Mark them that these are miscellaneous. I'll do away with it. Okay, so like that. Now with respect to this, again, suppose it is 1020, the same risk. You saw that related to the topic of education, I said, oh, it will take new national education policy, it will take me 20 words to write, but I used 18 words. Two words if each sentence, if I keep receding, and suppose I'm writing 70 to 80 sentences, 160 words gap will be created. Got it? So the moment I say 1020, I should become little alert, and I should add few examples or few dimensions which I have left in brainstorming and brain mapping. Okay, because in the process of organization, we don't pick everything from brainstorming and brain mapping sheet. So think, is any other point that can be added in between somewhere over here? Can something be added? Okay, so if it is 1020, add. And where can you add? Add somewhere in between here. Okay, somewhere in between the paras, not towards the beginning, not towards the end. All right, so that's how you can understand. How can we come to know that A to Z keywords make 1180 words? A to Z keywords, no. I mean, A to Z are associated with points. They are not alphabets. Oh my God. Dheeraj, were you absent in previous sessions that you are unable to grab what I'm saying? So don't you remember that in the previous session I had said that you in brain mapping you have various dimensions, right? Okay, so in, like, suppose you are thinking individual, okay, you are thinking of social, political, like so here I'm writing A, but you, because you cannot write the points here, no. Can you write the entire brainstorming brain mapping framework once again in organization of essay? Can you write and copy everything? It will take extra time and it will create a chaos in the page. So the best way is, suppose you are thinking of, oh my God, I never thought I'll have to explain all this, regional, gola maro regional ko, and after that write down A. Got it? Suppose you are discussing some segment, like let's say related to vulnerable section, rural and urban. So you are not going to write rural urban and circle whatever the order is. Suppose the order is J, mark J and write J. And in urban rural, think related to that chapter or related to that topic on which you are writing the essay. Think from rural urban segment, what point can you create? Suppose you thought I can write this, this and this dimension. How many words will you need? Ask yourself. You'll think that, oh, tentatively I'll need 2 to 3 sentences, short sentences or long sentences. Then you realize, oh, it will be relatively short sentences, write 30 words. If it is long sentence with a lot of and, but, yet, then it will be like stretching up to 45 words. Is that making sense now, Dheeraj? Okay. While writing mains, if we feel short of time, can we conclude in the middle of the essay? Yeah, and be prepared to lose the game, Niranjan. I mean, this statement is said by a student who's prepared not to practice essay. I mean, 250 marks. Just imagine, history, you are ready to read 5 NCRTs and 1 spectrum and another some book and then coaching notes and then revise all of it just for 80 marks. Geography, you are ready to revise like and be thorough with NCRT from standard 8 to standard 12, then GC Leong, then teacher's notes, coaching material, this and that, just for 80 marks. And essay, which is 250 marks, you are not ready to revise, not ready to practice and practice it thoroughly, 1 essay per week. And then, Niranjan, after all this laziness, you want to say that, ma'am, while writing essay, if I feel short of time, can I conclude in the middle of the essay? No problem. Conclude in the middle and be prepared for an incomplete essay. When it is creating an incomplete impression, it will get incomplete marks. For 250, I mean, can't you even sense this thing? That for 250 marks, we have 6 sessions, and every session is, I'm trying to make it as power packed as possible, because essay is more about knowing the methods, techniques, and then practicing. In the absence of methods and techniques, you cannot practice. But if you have the methods and techniques and you don't practice, you are equivalent to a 0. So methods and techniques plus practice leads to success. You leaving the content in the middle is a mark of lack of practice. Okay, so any student, this applies to all the students, any student who has this kind of confusion that I cannot write 1200 words is the student who's ready not to practice. If you are really thoroughly practice, imagine, boss, 250 marks is at stake. You are studying history, geography, art and culture, social issues. So much. It at least takes 2 months of coaching to complete these subjects. And then you're fighting for 250 marks. Same, polity, IR, governance. And after that, you have the segment of social justice that takes 2 months. And for 2 months, what you prepare? Here, essay is giving you with respect to it, and you're not ready to practice it. It is all about practicing. And fun fact, think about it logically. The topic on which you practice writing an essay, will you not be thorough in that topic with respect to GS as well? Like suppose you're practicing writing an essay on corruption. Will you not be thorough related to the topic of corruption for ethics paper 4 as well as governance? So is it essay writing only, or is it not nourishing the preparation of GS as well? Think. So if anyone goes lazy and ever talks about leaving the essay in middle, that will be a mark of laziness and not practicing. This applies to all right? I will be able to determine number of words to be written in a para before writing it. I'm totally confused. Okay, Parveen, this comes with practice once again. Okay, how you are going to write a sentence, like let's say 150 word answer in GS. When you write, do you write it randomly? And if you're still writing it randomly, any student is writing a GS answer 150 word randomly, is not playing a fair shot. Suppose if there is a question, I'll give you this idea with respect to a GS answer. Okay, suppose there is a question that discuss the social problems emerging out of, this is for Parveen and all those students whose basic understanding is like not done. Yes, BM and BS is done on rough pages. Prashant, oh my God, why these students forget what has been taught in the previous session? I have said that rough sheet is provided. You have to ask for it in the mains exam. Anyway, so discuss the social problems emerging. SME, please support with all these miscellaneous answers. You have attended the class simultaneously along with the students. For these questions, please start responding to the students, because it is getting overwhelming. These kind of questions, which are simplistic and that should have been remembered by the students. Now, so discuss the social problems emerging. What am I writing? Emergence. Okay. So emerging out of speedy process of urbanization in India. Okay. Suppose this is the question. So will I not break up the question that if it is 150 words, then how will I explain it? So I will be thinking that what is speedy process of urbanization of India? So what is it and how it happened? I will explain these aspects and I will explain it in 30 words. So what is speedy process of urbanization? Speedy process of urbanization happened post LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization, and it happened due to failure of green revolution when mass migration took place, distress migration took place. These are the facts. So 30 words I'll explain it in 2 sentences, 2 long sentences I'll explain it. Then after that I'll discuss about social problems that would emerge. Emerge is the word. So I'll think of the social problems. So I'll think of the problems which are associated with slums, the problems associated with, like, let's say crime rate, the problem associated with drainage. Like that I'll keep thinking. Okay, slums, I'll write 20 word, crime rate, I'll write 20 word, drainage, I'll write in 10 word. Like that, I'll create a breakup. And then in conclusion, I will be thinking about what is the tentative solution. And solution is not asked in the question. So I'll just devote 10 to 15 words for solution, not more than that. That's how you break open the answer. And once you learn how to break open a GS answer, the same thing you have to do for essay. Because every point, the moment you see that I will discuss the environmental aspect of education, so I can always visualize a sentence that when we get educated, we become environmentally responsible by not exploiting the flora and fauna for our immediate gratification. Full stop. 20 words I'll take. I imagined the sentence, and after imagining the sentence, I noted the word down. 20. Is that making sense, Parveen? Is that getting clear? How? The moment you said how, I was like, how? Oh God. So is it making sense to everyone? When you learn how to write GS mains answers, when you recall the point and you know this point I can write in 20 words, this point I can write in 30 words, same thing you have to do in essay. You have to think of segments and keep visualizing for every segment how many words I will be allocating. All right? Okay, all right. Always remember, this is a tentative word limit. This is not the final word limit. That's why you have to fight it fit. You have to play it safe. Anything which is like 1120, like 1020 or 1180 is unsafe. If that is happening, cut down the words. If 1180, cut down the words. 1020, add more points, add more words. Got it? And that is how you are able to organize the essay. After that, run through the points once, mentally visualize the essay. First, I'll write introduction like this, like this, like this. Then the next para like this, then next para this, then this, then this, then this, and run it quickly, like very quickly. Then this, then this, then. There can be a possibility, rarely, but once in a while, that you might feel, अरे यार, इस point को यहाँ नहीं यहाँ लिख देते हैं. That will make more sense. If that is happening, mark it. That K moves after E. And between E and F, I'll mark the point K. I'll write it there. If any reshuffling is required, see here, the last point I said. Now revise the order of the points. Okay. And if any reshuffling is required, this is the last chance to do so. Okay. Because you have already eliminated the points or whatever. And once you have reshuffled it, you can organize the essay. Got it, all of you? Is it making sense? Yes, essay writing indeed is a technology when you are actually practicing it. And remember, practice, practice, and practice. That is the key to essay writing. That's why 6 sessions give you methods and techniques. Practicing gives you flair in your pen, flair in your writing, flair in your language, flair in your thought. And this area also nourishes GS answer writing. It nourishes your capability to express more easily, not just in GS mains, but also in interview, because you get a tendency to explain and elaborate. All right. So this is it for today, all of you. Let's meet once again tomorrow with the component of word bank, sentence bank, how to nourish them. We'll talk